Bonsoir tout le monde, je sais pas si vous m'entendez bien, je suis désolée, j'ai encore des soucis avec mon matériel. Bonsoir à ceux qui sont là, bonsoir Noldea, bonsoir Quentin, Dorian et Romain. Les gars, si vous pouvez me confirmer que niveau son, c'est ok pour vous. Bonsoir Hamza, bonsoir Redeo, salut Manfred, le duc. Alors je suis désolée, j'ai ma webcam qui bug, je sais pas pourquoi. Dès que je la frôle, elle boude, elle refuse d'afficher, donc c'est un peu casse-pied. Mais on va y arriver. Bonsoir tout le monde, j'espère que vous allez bien. On l'aura attendu, cette WitcherCon, ça fait un mois qu'on l'attend désespérément, enfin que je l'attends désespérément pour ma part. J'espère qu'on va passer une pure soirée, qu'on va pas être déçus au niveau des annonces. J'espère aussi qu'on va avoir le trailer quand même de la saison 2 de Netflix qui va tomber. Croisons les doigts, je pense que oui. On s'est quand même fait avoir il y a 2 semaines, il y a le teaser sur YNFR qui a pas été dévoilé, donc là j'espère que on croise les doigts. Et bonsoir aux autres. Bonsoir Sniffle, Osmic, Haruno. Pas de Witcher 4, ça c'est sûr, ils ont prévenu sur le site de la WitcherCon qu'il n'y aurait pas de Witcher 4. Par contre, on attend le patch Witcher 3 avec le ray tracing, les mods qui vont être ajoutés. Je pense pas qu'il y aura de nouvelles quêtes ou de nouveaux contenus concernant le jeu en lui-même. Mais on va bien voir ce qu'ils vont nous annoncer, peut-être qu'on sera agréablement surpris. Alors pour les mods, j'ai vu qu'ils étaient en train de négocier donc avec les gens qui les avaient créés sur Nexus, les choses comme ça, pour éventuellement les intégrer au jeu, parce que je pense qu'il y en a beaucoup qui ont bien marché, notamment à Bruno, celui avec le visage des acteurs de la série. J'ai pas testé personnellement, mais j'ai vu pas mal de playthroughs avec les gens qui avaient testé ça, et ça avait eu son petit succès quand même. Pour un 4e Witcher, je sais que voilà, ils avaient dit que la trilogie, voilà, Witcher 1, 2 et 3, c'était terminé. Enfin voilà, le cercle avec Geralt, les aventures de Geralt, voilà, ce serait terminé. Donc Witcher 4, ce serait, je pense, sur un autre personnage. Pour ma part, je verrais bien quelque chose avec Ciri, j'aimerais beaucoup. C'est un personnage que j'adore. Et je pense qu'il y a moyen de faire quelque chose de sympa avec sa capacité de voyager à travers le temps et l'espace. Ça pourrait vraiment donner quelque chose de vraiment pas mal, mais je pense que ce sera pas avant un bon moment quand même. Ah, alors attendez, j'ai un petit souci avec le chat. Je crois que ça s'affiche pas. Je piaille depuis tout à l'heure. Je mettrai le replay sur YouTube, vous inquiétez pas. Alors, pourquoi est-ce que j'ai pas le chat? C'est casse-pied. Bon, pas de chat, tant pis. C'est pas grave, on verra bien. Au pire, je l'activerai dans le replay pour que ça apparaisse à côté. Alors... Ah super, ça remarche. Ah non, sur les spin-offs, il y a beaucoup d'infos qui sont tombées, notamment au niveau du casting pour Blood Origins. Après, pour ce qui est de Nightmare of the Wolf, le film d'animation, on va avoir les infos aujourd'hui normalement. Alors là, ça va pas tarder. Alors, bougez pas, je mets le truc. On va passer sur... Hop. Et normalement, ça va pas tarder à commencer. Dites-moi si au niveau du son ça va, si c'est pas trop fort, parce que je me rends pas compte. Trop fort. Hop. Est-ce que c'est mieux comme ça? Stream dans un stream, exactement comme avec le dernier qu'on a fait pour la c'est comment? La Geek Week de Netflix. Bonsoir Laurent, merci d'être passé. Alors attendez. J'augmente le volume du micro. Est-ce que c'est mieux comme ça? Bougez pas. Desktop. Hop là. Ça devrait être mieux là, je pense. Sinon, je rebaisse encore. Un petit chouïa. Hop. Par contre, les gens dans le chat, j'espère que vous êtes un peu calés en anglais parce que je sais pas s'il va y avoir des sous-titres, j'espère. Si c'est pas le cas, j'essaierai de traduire 2-3 trucs si je peux. C'est parti. Sous-titres. Il y a des sous-titres. Je vous mets les sous-titres français. Hop. Ils avaient tout prévu. Yes. Pardon. C'est mieux comme ça?
The Witcher, together with Netflix and CD Projekt Red. And I can promise you that there's going to be tons of sneak peeks, never before heard stories and special guests.
Est-ce que c'est mieux le
Don't
son?
forget to share your favorite moments with us throughout
Encore?
the show, though, using the hashtag WitcherCon. let's just get started. I think that's what we need to do. Right, so we wouldn't be here without Andrzej Sapkowski, who obviously created the beloved Witcher world. Now, sadly, he can't join us in the studio today, but he did send us this personal message. So he says, "It gives me great pleasure to welcome all Witcher enthusiasts, fans of the books, the TV series, and the video games to the virtual WitcherCon convention. I'm sure that we'll all have grand fun, and when these challenging times are finally over, we'll meet again at WitcherCon," which is kind of really sweet.
Ah, bon gars. Ça aurait été marrant de l'avoir.
Let's get started. Kicking us off is our house band, the amazing Marcin Pibivovic and Percival, who you might know as the musical masterminds responsible for the Witcher game soundtrack.
Les génies qui ont fait la bande son, une des bandes son les plus géniales, sérieusement. Alors je vous préviens, moi je suis une fangirl, je vais kiffer à mort. Ils sont en concert en avril prochain à Paris, si ça vous intéresse. Moi, j'en serai. Prenez des billets.
In this cast Q&A with a little bit of a twist. But before we dive into the deck, let me introduce our wonderful panelists. So, joining the cast this season in the role of Lambert, a Witcher not to be messed with,
Lambert,
Paul Bullion. How you doing, Paul?
I'm very good, thank you. It's going to be fun, looking forward to this.
I feel like I need to shout a bit over there. Hey, how's it going? We can't wait to see what this enigmatic Nilfgaardian mage has in store for us in Season 2. Fringilla herself, Mimi M. Kaiser.
Hello.
Mimi, how you doing?
It's really good to be here.
I'm slightly intimidated, actually.
Why?
I don't know, just...
Don't be intimidated, we're chilled. Look at my fan.
Look at that.
Casual mischief, love
Moi
it.
aussi, j'ai montré.
Okay, a powerful sorceress, defender of the Northern Kingdoms and beloved by Geralt. Here's our Yennefer of Vengerberg, Anya Chalatra. Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
I
do feel like that we should give her a clap because we all know Yennefer loves a good clap.
Yeah, I do.
Inappropriate moments.
I was waiting for it.
Oui, ça c'était bizarre dans la série quand même, ce passage-là, mais bon.
Yeah. Well, I hope so.
Princess of Sintra, child of surprise, and now
Starbuck,
newest
merci
Witcher in
pour la
training.
précision. C'est vrai qu'il y en a qui connaissent pas
Freya
forcément,
Allen. Hey,
qui
Freya.
connaissent pas forcément
How you doing?
les jeux.
Good.
Good to have you here. This is great. We've got everyone, but wait, there's one more person we need to introduce. And finally, the woman at the heart of Netflix's The Witcher, showrunner and executive producer, Lauren Schmidt-Hisrig. How you doing, Lauren?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm really nervous. This is not what I normally do as a writer.
No, we're just having a bit of a chat. I know that there's like all these cameras here, but just having a bit of chat. I'm a bit of a nerd. It's fine. Don't worry.
Great.
Okay, it's all good. I think we should see what the cards have in store for us. So welcome to the Deck of Destiny. I was told to shuffle them, but I'm wearing like nails today, and this is really problematic. So basically, instead of kind of running through a list of kind of generic questions to our esteemed guests, I'm going to be choosing fan questions from random from the Deck of Destiny. So the contents of this deck are as much a mystery to me as they are to you, but the cards are going to reveal a surprise or two, I think. So let's do the first card. Right, hold on, let me get this the right way around. Come on. Okay, right, the first card. Okay. So this fan is clearly hungry for a little bit of a season 2 scoop. So Lauren, actually, why don't you take this one? How did you approach the relationship between Geralt and the other witches at Kaer Morhen? Because, you know, it's like the homestead. You know, what's going on?
It is the homestead. You know, so much of what we talk about in The Witcher is about family. And so that's where we started this relationship with. Henry had Henry Cavill. Maybe you've heard of him.
I don't think we need to use surnames at this point, honestly.
You know, Henry actually comes from a family of brothers, so it's something that we talked about a lot, and what it is like to be part of a big family. He also comes from a military family, so we talked a lot about the Witchers being almost like a military family. They all go out, they sort of do, they have their own adventures. It's really dangerous. You never know if your brothers are going to come back home or not. But when they do, when they reunite every single winter, that's when they get to relax and just be themselves. So one of the most fun things that we did, and Paul can speak to this a little bit too, is just to make sure that they feel like, you know, like actual brothers. They roughhouse a lot. They give each other a lot
Pour ceux qui ont fait Witcher 3, il y a la fameuse quête avec
a lot of stuff.
à Kaer Morhen avec Lambert et Estelle.
So no, they're constantly teasing each other. We just want to make sure that it felt when they come together light and fun, like real brothers would be.
Quête.
Very excited about it. Okay, so Paul, what was it like to to be kind of involved in that, to kind of be brought into Kaer Morhen and in that sort of Witcher, you know, thrown in season 2?
It was quite surreal because I actually watched season 1 when it was released, knowing that I was going to be joining in season 2, which was strange but exciting. And so to step into Kaer Morhen in season 2 and brought into the fold, and that way everyone was really welcoming. And like Lauren touched on there, Henry brought me into the conversation about how the Witchers were like a band of Navy SEALs. And yeah, and he would say, he would.
Did you bond? Do you have a bromance with Henry?
Well, he created an environment where we could have that on set, where we would laugh and make jokes, and it all fed into the scenes really well. And it was the idea that, you know, we would die for each other. We are family through shared experiences.
Super adorable.
Yeah.
I'm super into it.
It was good fun.
Okay.
Say, on the back of that,
Yeah.
so we weren't in any scenes together.
Yeah.
But I would normally be in the morning after all the guys had been in.
Did it have a certain muff
You would get
in
the
air?
stories of what...
And it was really fun for me because I was like the only girl amongst these guys. It was hysterical. Like getting to be with you guys all day.
Starbuck,
It was quite funny.
From walking on set, and Freya would always have this look because you knew she was going to be like teasing and joining in with the fun, and I'd walk in and I could just feel Freya looking. I'd look over, I'd go, here we go. We've got a full day of this.
Like how we are in real life is just like our characters.
I'm fully getting that vibe, actually. I'm fully getting that vibe.
Honestly, taking out of them.
No, we love that.
Yeah,
love a bit of that.
Fun.
Okay, so this one is for Anya. This one's for you, okay? So, which monster would you most like to kiss? No, I'm just kidding, that's not really the question. Which is the one trait... Sorry. Which is the one trait about your character's personality that you kind of absolutely love?
I'd have to say, where there's a will, there's a way with her. She is a survivor, and I love that about it. That would be my favourite. Yeah. There's lots. There's many traits I love. We've become quite similar, I think.
Yeah.
We inform each other, I think.
Okay, next question. Right, okay. Do the actors keep character notebooks? And if so, what kind of independent exercises and explorations do you do to kind of refine your characters?
I think... So it might not be a physical book that we keep, a log or journey, but we do definitely always check in with each other in terms of where we are.
Je me demande s'ils suivent le programme en fait qui a été mis en ligne sur WitcherCon. Je vais
as an
regarder
actor, I want to show my range and be like do all these things, but actually to check in with each other and say, okay, we're not at that point of the story yet. We can fully immerse ourselves in what the truth is of that. And so I think a lot of us are very conscious of constantly checking in with each other to say, well, we're here in this relationship, or and even working with Eamon sometimes, you'll do a scene, he'll be like, I'm not there yet. No, that's next ep.
Of course he does.
Not there yet.
That's so
level he does. I love it.
No. And I'm like, I was the only one in that scene. What do you mean we're not there yet? Excuse me.
Oh, amazing. Okay, we have another question now on the Deck of Destiny. OK, so we've actually kind of struck gold here because this is actually a Gwent card from, you know, the Witcher card game. So we can actually take a look here. We can see our Sunset Wanderers there. Look at that. Delightful. So this one, I believe is for Paul. Can you give us a sneak peek of a monster
donc ils suivent bien le programme.
Just one little one.
Donc là, c'est la table ronde avec le casque de la saison 2.
Meant to be giving away any little sneak peeks, but
what? Why am I here?
Seeing as we've waited so long because of the world stopping, I think it's only fair that we give the first little sneak peek of one of the first monsters in season 2. It's the Leshy.
Oof, let's take a look.
Oh, bon Dieu. Il y aura donc un Leshen. Il y a bien le Leshen.
You guys are such teasers with your teasers. It's ridiculous. It's a bit of a hand or something. What?
No, I saw a meme though.
Donc ça ressemblerait quand même pas mal à celui de Witcher 3.
It must be really difficult not to spoil things. I'll be like, bleh. So, OK, this one's for you, Freya. Let me just turn over the card. Let's move along. OK, so in the first season, this is obviously a fan question. In the first season, obviously, we kind of got glimpses of kind of Ciri's power, you know, her power. But are we going to see like a whole load of it in season 2? Or is it a bit more kind of like drip-fed, do you think, over the course of the season? Or is it just going to go all in? Because, you know.
I mean, for Ciri, her... whatever she possesses inside her is a very scary thing for her, and so she's not keen to start kind of confronting it. But I think you see that as time goes on and she's introduced to the right people, she realizes that actually it's far more beneficial to try and control whatever this is that she has than run away from it.
Yeah,
which is what she's been doing for a lot of the time. But yeah, no, you're definitely going to get to see
c'est la vision de la série. C'est différent quand même dans les livres.
Yeah, I think actually also I just want to draw attention to obviously we've got some amazing fan art that's kind of happening behind. So if you actually take a look at this one, this is all the way from Hungary.
I
mean, I have to say, as actors, how often, like, I mean, you don't get drawn when you do other shows or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it must be really fun to like kind of see all this art.
There's some amazing artwork. Wow, yeah, and even just seeing that, like, just a reminder. There's so much as well. Yeah.
It's just amazing to see how many people are inspired. And specifically what characters they're inspired by.
Yeah.
You know, it is, obviously the show is called The Witcher, but it's been fun as the person who sits back and has sort of been having these characters in my mind for so long to see how different people all over the world relate to, you know, all of these characters.
And I've never known so much anticipation around something that they haven't seen yet. So, like, they haven't seen Lambert yet.
But we know Lambert already, though.
Yeah.
And we've been wanting to see him.
And it's very strange as an actor to have images drawn of your character before they've even seen. And it's very flattering as well. But it just shows how much love for the show there is out there.
There is a lot of love.
Do they capture your hair well enough?
I think their hair would have its own gallery. I think, and we owe that look, I suppose, to the pause. I just didn't cut my hair because I couldn't. So yeah, it was interesting when the head of hair and makeup just said, "Don't touch a thing, just come in." So yeah, call it the COVID look.
I mean, I know there's like clearly like so much to look forward to in season 2, but I think the next one's going to be for you, Anya. Let's turn over the card. Right. Okay. So before we kind of get into this, actually, I just wanted to point out there are some beautiful. Look at these Gwent cards here. There's Yennefer, you know, kind of being an absolute badass as usual. Actually, and Ciri as well. It's amazing. So, yeah, what was the most exciting thing about, you know, portraying Ciri and Yennefer's relationship? Because now we're kind of getting to the meat of it.
We've
never worked together. So we're so close, but we've never acted together, which was bizarre. Because we knew each other so well, because we went through the whole of the first season together. We were living, you know, so close to each other. So the most exciting thing for me was just getting to know what it's like to work with Freya and see what that dynamic was. And then that informs our relationship. Sorry?
Was it all right?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
It was amazing. She's amazing. And, you know, her character goes on such a journey. Like, from what I saw in season 1 to, you know, get to work with her at a point in this season, which is completely different, is, you know, is a joy.
Aw. So, like, it's so adorable and wholesome. I love it. Next card, I think. Sorry. Right, here we go. Mimi, let's take a look at this Fran of Fringilla. Really poetic. Look at it.
Mais je pense que voilà, ils font.
So I think this
Voilà, ils
next
voulaient
question is for
proposer du
you.
contenu, mais sans trop en
what was the
révéler.
most
Donc on a des
challenging
petits
part
trucs
about
comme
playing your
ça.
character in the second series? Now that you know kind of more about
Bon, nous,
her.
on attend les infos concrètes, quoi. Mais bon,
I love her.
disons que ça fait passer le
I
temps.
absolutely love her. We call her Fringy for short. And that's when we're feeling really endearing towards her. I would genuinely have days where I would read the scripts of things that she does sometimes, and my heart would break for her. Because I think there is a thing when you're an actor playing a character, you fall in love with them. And everything they do, even the worst things, you completely sympathise and want to cover them and be like, it's okay, we're going to get through that awful thing you did.
Well, I suppose you sort of have to, right, to understand the character,
ça me fait peur.
the
Qu'est-ce qu'ils vont faire à Fringilla? Ils vont lui faire un passé douloureux de victime encore.
To do that. And then I'd be like, oh my God, put the sword down.
Come on.
You become like a best friend to your character. And anyone who messes with them, you're like,
excuse me.
No.
Yeah.
Don't talk about them like that.
So true. And your character's allies as well. So even if an ally's not there, you're like, you better hold on. Because I understand them and
I've looked into their souls.
That's true, you get so territorial.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it will come to do scenes and I'll be like, oh, why's she got to do that?
That comes from the human element in the show as well. Every character has, you know, in the real world, everyone's represented by somebody in the show, I think.
Yeah. And I've definitely had moments in my life I think, that wasn't a good decision. You have to live with it, don't you?
Ouais, les gars, je partage un peu votre avis quand même.
And also, like, completely trusting that journey.
Bon, moi, j'ai été honnête. Dans la saison 1, j'étais très déçue. Niveau écriture, personnage, tout ça.
Yes.
J'espère que ça ira mieux dans la saison 2, mais franchement,
we haven't seen that side or we haven't been there yet.
Je pense qu'on va s'éloigner de plus en plus des livres. Le truc va devenir un peu
for where she's going to go, wherever that may be. That was really great.
On va voir. Croisons les doigts, mais...
Amazing. Okay, so this question I think seems like a good one for Freya. This one's for you. So are we going to see any training sequences this season? Are we?
Oui, elle avait mis un truc sur son Instagram, on la voit s'entraîner.
And then you're amazing. There's a lot of hard work involved.
There's a lot of hard work that's involved. Yes, you are. It was one of the things I was most excited about.
Ça, j'ai tellement hâte de voir ça. Franchement, dans le troisième bouquin, c'est la partie que je préfère vraiment. Ciri et Kermoren qui s'entraînent, qui se lient avec les sorceleurs. J'ai tellement hâte de voir ça. J'espère
but yeah, no, Ciri begins training, and that actually becomes one of her main kind of drives. She's very determined, and she really wants to become like a great fighter and become a witcher. And it's hard because she's got certain brotherly figures around her who are a little bit annoying and
every brother, I think, in the whole world.
Yeah, and Geralt's being a little bit, you know, not quite letting her reach the potential she wants to, which is very frustrating for her. But yeah, no, we actually have a funny story, me and Paul. Because there was we do this one scene and Lambert comes in and he is meant to slice this dummy.
You're going with that one?
Yeah. Okay. It's meant to slice this dummy. And each time he was just missing. And I tried to hold it together in the scene, but I just couldn't help but burst into laughter because every time it was just failing. We were trying to continue on with the scene, but it just...
Starbucks, je pense que Netflix a compris que la hype, elle venait des jeux, franchement. Que les gens ont vraiment le public, ils venaient des jeux, qui kiffaient les jeux, que voilà, ils voulaient voir des inspirations du jeu dans la série, donc je pense que ça va aussi s'inspirer pas mal.
Because she's laughing, and I'm meant to be stern, and I'm just looking at Freya laughing, and
même pas ce qu'ils en font. Encore une fois.
And then they shout cut, and she goes finally.
Et une fois, je suis d'accord aussi, s'éloigner des livres. Okay,
this is great, although difficult, I presume, for acting when someone's totally.
Proposer quelque chose de cohérent.
A joy, really. We had a lot of fun.
Qui suit quand même un peu
we're very competitive.
L'intrigue générale, quoi.
In a fun way, offset anyway. I mean,
yeah, and then it came to a scene where I had to chop the head off of one, and the AD goes, you better beat Paul. And I literally do first take and the head goes flying off. And
Amazing.
Yes. Can't wait to tell
one. I think we've actually got a picture of you guys training. Yeah. Let's have a look. I mean, look at that. Was that after that particular scene you were talking about where you like are laughing in his face? You're like,
my God,
ruined my day of acting.
No, it was good fun.
Oh. I mean, Paul, how was the weapons training? How did you enjoy it?
No, I really enjoyed it. I mean, as a kid, I think one of my first memories, I was about 2 or 3, in a local pound shop, they had those plastic swords, you know, they used to fall apart after like a day.
Yeah.
But I used to always get one when I was in that pound shop, and I used to pretend that I was running around my garden into the bushes, like.
You're living your childhood fantasy right now.
Now it's like a profession.
You get paid for it.
Yeah.
Someone's giving you money to live out your childhood dream.
30 years later.
Est-ce que c'est mieux comme ça, Statoun?
Good for you.
No, it's great fun, and you know, like Fred touched on there, the stunt department, the fight choreography, you know, it's top, and it's a great atmosphere when you go into the stunt rehearsal because it's a load of big kids that love doing what they do, and you get to go in there and have fun.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess we
Pas de souci, Adèle, hein, je laisserai sur la chaîne à la rediffusion.
You're right, you're just enjoying it, like, whatever, it's totally fine. So we've got a lot of new characters announced for season 2, and obviously, you know, yourself as a big fan of the original material. Which one are you most excited to see? Are you allowed to have a favourite, though? Because maybe you're not. I don't know how that works.
That's like asking me my favourite child. That's really hard.
I mean, but everyone has one. They deny it, but they do.
Okay, I have one.
A favourite child?
Don't tell my sons. No, I mean, there are so many characters that we're introducing.
On sait que son personnage préféré c'est Yennefer. Voilà, on le sait. Hein. Vu comment on nous l'a survendu à la saison 1.
Nanika, there's, I mean, so many. But I would have to say Vesemir is the one I'm looking most forward to our audience meeting. You know, Vesemir is so integral to the story that we're telling this season. Obviously, we're returning to Kaer Morhen for the first time. And in a season that is about Geralt becoming a father to Ciri, it felt
Aruno, c'est clairement confirmé, hein, le Lechen. Hein, c'est sûr qu'on va le voir. Donc, j'ai hâte de voir les autres annonces. Parce que j'ai d'autres théories dont j'avais parlé dans une vidéo sur la saison 2. J'ai vraiment hâte de voir si ça va s'avérer vrai ou pas. On va bien voir.
And Kim Bodnia, who plays Vesemir, is...
Sorry, the casting on that, I just have to small aside. Oh my God, perfection.
Perfection.
Like, you're like, obviously, it's him. I mean, who else could it be?
Yes.
Par contre, je ne sais pas combien de temps elle va durer, la conférence, parce qu'il y a quand même beaucoup de choses de prévues. Et là, on en est déjà quasiment à 30 minutes là, de table ronde. Du coup, je pense que ça va durer pas mal de temps. C'est pas plus mal, moi je m'en plains pas, mais j'espère que ce sera un poil plus intéressant que cette table ronde.
I sort of want to know more, but I don't want to know more because it's just making it harder. So yeah, I'm not going to lie. I do feel like the deck of Destiny hasn't disappointed, and I don't want to kind of push like our luck a little bit, but to be honest with you, I just want to keep asking you guys questions if that's all right. So I think we'll go for another round.
Ooh.
So, all right. Oh, okay. Well, this isn't useful. There's like a J here, and I don't know if that's like a joker. Is it a joke? Oh no, it's going to be okay. All right. Yeah, it's Jaskier.
There he is.
There he is. Look at him, his little sweet face. And I believe that Joey can actually join us right now.
Ah, cool.
Hey, gang.
J'allais dire, c'est bizarre qu'il soit pas là quand même.
Jaskier in The Witcher, which I assume you knew because you're all here and you're all massive nerds. I'm very sorry that I can't be there in person today. I'm actually working on another project, hence the beard. But I'm here to answer some of your questions that have been forwarded onto me and also give you a little sneak peek, a little surprise at the end. This is from Sally. Hi, Sally. Dear Joey, oh my God, you're amazing. And There is no question. Who vetted these? I feel this one is from John. Hi, John. Dear Joey, will there be a hat in season 2? Gotta let the hat thing go, guys. It's getting weird now. That being said, there might be a small amount of hat.
Bah oui, mais le chapeau, ça fait partie du personnage. C'est comme ça qu'on le reconnaît. Le chapeau avec la plume d'aigrette. Plume de quoi? Plume d'aigrette, la plus célèbre des Royaumes du Nord.
Playing someone as talented and funny and brilliant and talented as Jaskier. No. And that's from Henry. Henry, did you send... You know what? I'm just going to ignore this and the drawings that you've done. There's 2 little stick figures there. And underneath it says, best friends. I'm just going to ignore that. Finally, hopefully you've been waiting for this for a while, I know, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. I'm going to give you a little sneak preview of Jaskier's new look in season 2. He's gone a bit more rock and roll. I think it's
plus rock and roll.
It's definitely
un peu moins
something.
Justin Bieber alors.
Let's bring it up so everyone can see.
On avait droit à la super coupe 2009. Quoi?
There he is.
Oh mon Dieu.
What a moron. What's he doing? That was actually taken, that's just a photo of me from my local pub. You can tell because everyone around me is incredibly bored. I hope you enjoyed that little sneak preview. I cannot wait to share this season with you later in the year. But until then, I'm just going to go and burn this. Lots of love, everyone. Take care.
Malaise TV.
Well, much like his character, Joey certainly knows how to leave his audience entertained. Yeah. But seeing season 2 Jaskier made me even more kind of like curious. So I feel like Deck of Destiny, we definitely need to turn to you once more and show me what you got. All right. Okay.
Alors si ça doit terminer à 21h, j'espère que ça va pas être que de ça. Et genre 10 minutes pour chaque autre élément du programme là, parce que bon,
I have to say,
pas top.
Probably the training sequence with Freya, Lambert, Cohen and Ciri. I remember it took a couple of weeks. It was quite hot summertime, and we had all the fake snow everywhere, and it was quite strange to have that combination to be cold in the boiling hot. And it was just so much fun. I think that was a real camaraderie starting to kick in, because it was quite near the start of the shoot, I think. And
j'espère qu'ils vont surtout s'inspirer de l'ambiance des jeux, l'ambiance vraiment Europe centrale, slavique, qu'on retrouve vraiment incroyablement bien dans les jeux. J'espère qu'on va le voir un peu plus quand même dans la série, parce que moi, c'est ce qui m'a manqué, honnêtement. C'est dommage, on aurait dit que ça se passait, mais vraiment n'importe où, quoi. Il n'y avait pas vraiment de... Il n'y avait pas vraiment d'âme, en fait, derrière les décors, les bâtiments, les paysages, je sais pas. C'était un espèce de patchwork bizarre. J'espère qu'ils s'inspireront quand même des jeux sur ce point-là. Ça manquait vraiment, pour ma part en tout cas.
It sounds like a blooming holiday camp, this. It's great. I'm fully into it. Okay, next question. Right, okay, so here's a kind of fun one for you. So show Witcher fans a collectible figure. So I believe, actually, this is, Anya, one for you. You're going to introduce this one.
So, Dark Horse produce high-end figures that are coming out at the end of this year. But we have a teaser for you now, I believe.
Ponderous.
And if you stay tuned, you'll be able to see Yennefer's soon.
Ooh, yeah. And so I believe the pre-sale date is 23rd of July for that. So mark that in your diaries there. Look at that. Pensive
Amazing.
Yes. Okay, right. One final card for you guys from the deck
Ouais,
of
je sais
Destiny.
pas.
So let's make it count. So the card is asking us to reveal your favorite photo.
Je la trouve moins bien que celle des jeux vidéo, hein,
And,
personnellement.
actually, I'm a little
Juste
bit
là, il se
ahead,
tient
I think of you guys
comme ça.
here as I have a little surprise for you. Netflix.
Ah oui, le
can you
merchandising,
reveal my
c'est
new
parti. Là,
favorite
j'ai vu, il y a
photo,
plein de trucs là qui sont en cours de production. Du coup, ah.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's amazing.
Ah, ok.
I think more importantly,
Ah,
I think, for
vous voyez
everyone is,
Kermoren au fond là?
those other words at the bottom there.
Là, juste là.
Oh my.
Look at that.
Sur le coin supérieur droit, on voit un peu Kermoren qui se dessine.
December 17th, we are doing The Witcher Season 2.
You've made our
17
Christmas,
décembre,
look at that.
17 décembre,
Brilliant.
ok.
Witcher Christmas.
We have an answer for people now.
Yes, we finally can answer people when they ask us.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing.
I mean, Lauren, obviously, you know, I want to know everything about season 2, but I mean, don't spoil anything, but can you tell me more about, you know,
okay.
Ciri and Geralt's journey,
Bon,
but without
faut que je
spoiling
pose un
anything, but can you
RTT.
tell me everything, but without spoiling anything?
Without spoiling anything, but tell you everything that
Yeah.
we've done. Yes,
Yeah.
of course. No, you know, obviously at the end of season 1, we have what I think is one of the sort of most emotional scenes that we've done, which is Geralt and Ciri finding each other after they've both been searching all season. And we get this super emotional hug between them.
Ah, j'avoue, Laurent, c'est cool.
And it
Il y a
seems
pire
like,
que
you know,
l'anniversaire.
father figure and daughter figure, and everything's going to be perfect at that point. Except for they've never met. And so
Ils se sont
it was
jamais
really
rencontrés à
fun to
cause de
start
toi,
season 2
idiote.
thinking about, well, they're not a family yet. How do
T'as
they
viré
grow
la
to be
rencontre à
one?
Brokilon.
What do you do
C'est pas
if you
pourquoi.
are a person like Geralt is, who has sworn he doesn't need anyone in the world whatsoever, and then he's presented with a girl who's now solely in his care. And we have Ciri, who's used to being under the care of people, but now has basically been running from everyone for an entire season, and now being told that, you know, this person is going to take care of you. And so it was really fun to start season 2 kind of them a little uncertain about how to be with each other. And they have to really grow into that. We wanted to make sure that felt like an authentic relationship.
Bon courage,
that they
hein,
weren't
parce que
just bonded at
punaise.
the very beginning.
Yeah, and
Quel
it's
dommage.
the reality of the situation is Ciri has a lot, like, struggles to trust people after her journey to Geralt. And so it's not easy for her to just open up. And also she's got a lot of things that she doesn't want to open up about. And so it's kind of that dynamic of Geralt trying to understand this girl, and she's resisting it a little bit. But Geralt's not always going about it the right way, and it's that kind of, sometimes they're knocking heads, but eventually they do become, you see them become a team, and that's when it's like so lovely. And there's a scene at the end of episode 1 that's probably one of my favorite scenes that we shot, which is like you see a glimmer of what their relationship could become, and the trust that could be forming between the two of them, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah, that's such an amazing scene, and it sticks out in my brain because as an American, I use the word "okay" a lot. That's how we respond to things. And it was Freya who was like, "You should know that Brits don't really say okay; we say all right." And I'm like, "Oh, like it's probably in the script 100 times, like okay." And it's the final word of that scene, and it is oddly so powerful because it is an acceptance of the two of them having to start to trust each other, and it's just beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Bon, je vais pas commencer à râler parce que voilà, je trouve que c'est une relation qui a été vraiment gâchée dans la première saison, vraiment dommage. C'est pas du tout comme ça que c'est censé se passer dans les livres. Dans les livres, ça se fait de manière beaucoup plus, comment dire, organique en fait. Je sais pas, c'est dommage. Je sais pas comment ils vont nous faire ça. J'imagine à peu près. Hein. Ça va être Gérald qui traîne le boulet derrière elle qui résiste, qui veut pas écouter. Oui, je parie qu'elle va genre se jeter dans la gueule du loup. Il va devoir la sauver. Et il va se rendre compte que oh là là, oh je tiens à elle. Oh là là.
And we're moving straight from one card game into another. And if you're wondering what on earth we were talking about, you know, when we mentioned Gwent, the Witcher card game earlier, then stick around for a short explainer coming right up.
Gwen, 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 Gwen. Ok, ça je crois que c'est la deuxième partie du programme. Bienvenue dans Gwent, The Witcher Game. Et il est incroyable ce jeu. Pour voir qu'il est gratuit, Le contenu est génial, superbe. Ah, donc c'est une présentation du jeu, ok.
Sound easy, trust me, it won't be. Behold your favorite characters, beautifully drawn and animated.
Et les musiques, mais les musiques, elles sont géniales. Oh, je suis trop contente, c'est trop bien.
Powerful armies and mighty commanders, tough choices and brutal consequences. This is the world of the Witcher, and it's at your fingertips. So see you on the battlefield.
J'ai peur en fait que là, toute cette conférence se soit surtout centrée autour du show, donc de Netflix, et que tous les trucs de CD Projekt, ce soient les trucs qui viennent autour pour combler un peu, j'ai l'impression. J'espère pas. Perso, je suis plus intéressée par le contenu de CD Projekt.
Note to self, obviously get myself some Gwent cards, but also note to panel, I desperately need more information about season 2.
Ouais, c'est clairement ça en fait. CD Projekt, on comble les brèches avec du CD Projekt, quoi.
Okay. You've got some juicy. What can you give me, please?
I think I can help you out there. As you know, Ciri's going through some pretty serious life changes next season, but the magic and drama aren't just unfolding on screen. Join me as we take a little peek behind the scenes.
Ouh là là. C'est parti. Préparez-vous, je vais râler.
I was very happy with season 1 because it was so well received and so many people contacted me telling me how much they loved it. So, you know, I was just over the moon.
I was thrown into season 1. I was very new to it all and really had to just learn on the job.
We were nervous because obviously we loved it because we put blood, sweat and tears into it. But
bon, déjà les cheveux d'Yennefer, c'est un peu mieux. Ça ressemble un peu plus à ce que c'est censé ressembler dans les romans, les boucles noires. C'est quand même sa signature, quoi. Les cheveux noirs bouclés, c'est pas compliqué à mettre en place.
And I feel like this season you really see her grow.
I have favourite scenes from season 1, but I loved my whole journey with Yennefer. This season, everyone worked their ass off to make this happen.
And so I'm just excited for people to see everyone's hard work.
I mean, that's what we do it for. We do it for the fans, and the fact that gaming fans loved it as well as the new fans that were coming on board was just brilliant.
Can't wait actually for people to see this season.
Ok. Oui, pas vu grand-chose en fait. Hein.
When it comes to the Witcher series, extraordinary talent isn't just on screen. It's behind the scenes too. In this installment of the Humans of the Continent series, Netflix's master armorer Nick Jeffries shows us just what goes into making the weapons of the continent. Have a look for yourself.
Bonsoir Bob, j'espère aussi parce que c'est une des nouvelles vraiment que j'adore dans le premier roman. Donc espérons.
I'm also in charge of the armory department. This is a medieval
Alexandre, normalement il y a des interviews avec les qu'on appelle ça, les responsables des quêtes pour Witcher 3, donc il va y avoir, je pense, un peu comme ce qu'ils sont en train de faire, une sorte de table ronde, et de ce que j'ai vu sur le programme, voilà, ils vont discuter de tout le processus qu'ils ont mis en place pour créer les quêtes en se basant sur les romans, en piochant des éléments un peu de folklore slavique, tout ça, donc ça j'ai hâte de voir quand même.
What type of monster would I fight?
Ouais, que je regarde le programme quand même. Un grain de vérité, Kermoren, c'est ce qui était prévu. Un grain de vérité, Kermoren. Troisième. What is lost, ok. Redania, ok, donc ça va se focaliser sur Fringe Villa à Caïr. Turn your back. Est-ce que ce serait ce à quoi je pense? Dear Friend, c'est la rencontre où Gérald et Yennefer. Voletmel, c'est le faux Gunther demeuré. Ok. Ok.
For over 13 years, the Witcher games have captured the imagination of gamers worldwide. Next up, the developers behind the successful series discuss how they brought the Witcher universe to life,
voilà.
uncovering forgotten artifacts and touching upon favorite moments in the process. Let's have a look.
Ward, j'ai pas fait attention parce que j'étais en train de piailler, mais oui, c'est très... C'est vrai que c'est très américain tout ça.
So for everyone who might not know what our Witcher games are, essentially you are playing as the Witcher, Geralt of Rivia, and you are exploring the world of the Witcher, and you basically do your job, and you experience many different stories that we also refer to as quests. So those are the missions you undertake.
Les gars, j'attends le patch, mais avec tellement d'impatience pour refaire Witcher 3 en entier. Ça va être un kiff total.
I'm Błażej Augustynek. I'm the acting lead quest designer for Kraków, the Krakow studio. I've worked on The Witcher and Cyberpunk, been in the studio for 7 or 8 years, I think.
C'est ça, Starbucks, des bons gars. On peut dire ce qu'on veut sur Cyberpunk. Moi, j'y ai pas joué, donc voilà. Mais Witcher, on peut pas leur enlever Witcher, quoi. C'est, ils ont fait un boulot incroyable.
There are of course the original books by Andrzej Sapkowski, and then there's also of course the Netflix
tu
series.
sens qu'ils aiment les livres, hein, vraiment, c'est incroyable.
What makes these games special?
Well, games as a medium are very different from books. That goes without saying. For us, it's important because it allows us to immerse you as the player into the world in a way that any other medium cannot.
Et ça, ils ont fait ça, mais magistral.
Really exciting.
L'atmosphère, les musiques, t'es vraiment plongé dedans. C'est ouf.
Also, we've set the games in the timeline after the books, which gives us basically the whole world as a blank canvas, right?
Manfred, tu parles du matériel pour refaire Witcher 3?
The challenge there, though, is to make these stories feel like they belong in that world, like they are part of it. Like if Andrzej Sapkowski were to make a game, that would be the game he would make. That's our hope, at least. Right.
Je suis tellement d'accord, mais c'est peut-être que je suis trop fangirl aussi de Witcher, mais c'est vraiment ça, quoi. L'écriture au niveau des quêtes, c'est vraiment le prolongement des livres, ça sera jamais comme les livres, mais la patte reste à peu près similaire, quoi. C'est
we try to make it so you can make your own Witcher and you're exploring new lands. But then over and over kind of the question came, the game is called The Witcher. Everyone who loves the books really likes.
Know who The Witcher is, right?
Exactly.
Je suis en train de monter mon PC Manfred. J'ai déjà le processeur. J'ai trouvé un bon processeur. Là, je surveille les cartes graphiques. Je vais me faire un vrai bon PC et je vais me le faire après Witcher 3. Sinon, j'ai réussi à choper la PS5. Au pire, je le ferai sur PS5. On va bien voir.
All right, so we already talked a little bit about how we started, when we decided to make Geralt of Rivia, but maybe let's
Bonsoir
go
Antoine, merci beaucoup
How do we even
pour ton message.
Thinking about these stories
je suis super contente, c'est vraiment ce que je voulais, c'était donner envie de lire les livres, du coup j'espère vraiment que tu vas aimer. N'hésite pas à repasser et me dire si t'as aimé.
Because we have to go to the inspiration for our own inspiration, which means to all the stuff that inspired the author of the series. And this is also inspiring for us, and we use it to build our worlds in the game, right? So it's kind of like a
hey, bonsoir Quentin, j'espère que tu vas bien, ça fait un moment. Merci de nous rejoindre.
And all the Slavic mythology that we use, or for the case of Beauclerc, we also use, sorry for my French, chanson de geste of Roman mythology. So for us, we use all of that as inspiration.
Mais c'est exactement ça, incroyable, toute la mythologie, le folklore qu'on retrouve dans le jeu.
Real people like you and I into that fantasy world filled with
bonsoir
elves
Stan.
And monsters and all that stuff. I was trying to say chimeras, but I said orcs, whatever.
No,
there's no orcs in the Witcher world. I wanted to say chimeras. Anyway, all of that is also interesting on the meta level because the way this world actually works, like in the lore, is it has real people from our world, like our physical world, in the fantasy world. This all happened in an event that is called the Conjunction of the Spheres, where two planets aligned and the people from our world were transported into the fantasy world that Geralt lives in. So it's
Laurent, merci beaucoup pour ton compliment, c'est gentil.
The inspirations are actually
J'ai encore du boulot pour m'améliorer, mais c'est gentil en tout cas, c'est très encourageant. Merci.
When it comes to the kind of themes and like general topics we want to explore. So often, essentially, when we come up with quests, we often look at, let's say, the world that Geralt moves around in. So as an example, in The Witcher Wild Hunt, Geralt explores Velen, which is a part of Redania, and in this time it's war-torn. So of course we want to tell lots of stories that have to do with these topics. So we basically, when we come up with quests, we think, what themes are interesting for us to explore? What interests us, and then what interests, as an example, the audience? So for sure, as an example, if we would tell stories about a war-torn land, as an example, I as a quest designer would say, I think I have an idea. I want to make a story about, let's say, civilian suffering in this world. And then we essentially start doing our research, because we essentially always say we're making mature games.
Toujours Julien, tu parles de faire un remake de la série, c'est ça?
Of course, that can always be part of it.
J'ai pas bien compris.
But what it actually means is that we really want to tell about topics that we think are important, that are interested to us, and that essentially make people, think when they play, and that make them feel when they play, and that are, maybe sometimes a little bit challenging. So this is often, for us, actually the first thing to start, essentially to really go. We don't just want to tell stories of, a witcher walking around the land and slaying monsters, because that's not what we want to do, that's not what Sapkowski did, but really to say, what is actually an interesting theme that, is worth exploring. And that's basically our rule for almost every single quest, where we just ask, why does that story need to be told? And if, we can answer all of these questions,
c'est tellement ça, sérieux. Faut que j'arrête, je suis trop d'accord avec les gars.
But there's also a technical challenge to that, right?
Complètement d'accord avec eux.
You just said war-torn land,
je réfléchis, mais je crois pas qu'il y ait une quête qui m'ait ennuyé dans Witcher 3. À part peut-être les quêtes redondantes. Non, même pas en fait. Je crois qu'il n'y a aucune quête qui m'a saoulé dans Witcher.
We actually have to do all that work. We as a team, not we as quest designers, but the whole studio has to work on rendering this war-torn land in painstaking detail, pretty much, because it's environment artists, it's effects artists, it's level designers, it's all that stuff that we need to actually physically create in the game, so that it looks like a war-torn land. So all the details that in a book you can kind of fill in with an offhand sentence, we do have to render to make it immersive, right? So there's this technical thing.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is,
Antoine, la légende du dragon dont tu parles, je crois que c'est clairement ça l'inspiration de Sapkowski.
On which our stories take place, we actually want to create a world. And essentially, if you're supposed to be immersed in these worlds, you're also supposed to feel that it's real. So I can just give one example. In The Witcher Wild Hunt, you're exploring the city of Novigrad, which fans of the books might already know and love.
Top, Novigrad,
and we basically had to do tons and tons of research. Our concepts teams, our environment art teams, to really see that the city shouldn't just look like any medieval city, but also it needs to function. The city is a big merchant city, so it needs a really big harbor. It, as an example, has a very famous harbor crane, and it needs, proper walls around it with lots of different gates, because Novigrad is a free city in the state of Redania, so of course it needs lots of defense. And then we also, had to think about, how do these people feed themselves? Of course, they do have a harbor.
The what do they eat question.
Exactly,
right?
What do they eat? So
the
actually,
basic question when you world build, basically.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, it's not just that, yeah, there's a city and now there's forests full of monsters.
Beau.
No, actually, it's a big medieval city. So of course it is surrounded by, lands of fields that live different weeds grow there. And then of course, we actually had people checking what kind of weeds would they grow in different parts of the world, because of course, the temperature matters.
Oh, cette musique, c'est celle qu'il y a quand on est à
we don't necessarily have to tell you all of this thing is there, the infrastructure, so the world works. But if they are not there, you just notice that it's missing. You just feel like I'm walking around some artificial world, but
Starbucks, j'avoue, c'était
like that you are Geralt of Rivia.
Ça a l'air d'être mal reçu ta confession.
You take all of that subconsciously, you take it all in subconsciously, and then by just way of being there, it gives a much bigger gravitas and depth to all the stories that we tell, because they happen in your mind, real world, right, as a player.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Antoine, il y a un patch de prévu pour la fin de l'année pour Witcher 3.
All right, so we talked about what kind of things inspire us when we start to come up with stories. But now let's also maybe just quickly give people a glimpse on all the challenges we actually face in making these stories into video games.
So one challenge that might be not that obvious, but it is the first thing that comes to my mind, is the point of view that the player has in the game. Because in a game you're fixed to one point of view, which is the main character's point of view, Geralt's point of view.
C'est ça.
And you can't do cuts like you would do in a movie where you show actions and events.
Puis surtout que tu arrives dans une histoire, c'est un personnage que tu ne crées pas, qui est déjà formé avec son passé, ses relations, ses convictions, ces choses comme ça. Donc c'est vrai que c'est ça, t'as un peu ce côté œillère. Mais d'un autre côté, c'est ce qui te permet aussi d'être en empathie avec le personnage.
We do sometimes in the games, Witcher 1, Witcher 2, Witcher 3, allow you to play as a different character. So that will be the example of Ciri, for example.
Ciri, j'aurais aimé avoir plus de Ciri, de gameplay avec Ciri dans Witcher 3. J'ai adoré jouer avec Ciri. Je prie pour un Witcher 4 focalisé sur Ciri. Honnêtement, il y a moyen de faire un truc de ouf.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think she's kind of all of our favorite. So we all like Ciri very much. Well, the thing is also, we talked about, that we create an open world and not just a stage. But it also kind of creates these challenges for actually making a story then. Because usually if you want to tell a story, you want to go from A to B to C. And usually you want to make the choices that are, best for the flow of the story. But we, of course, say we want to make an open world so you can run everywhere. So as an example, if you're walking around with a character, player might decide to just run away.
Quentin, je mets la cam aussi pour les jeux, mais en général, je suis en train de râler, donc c'est pas la même ambiance que là.
To essentially make sure that whatever action the player can take, the story still works, and sometimes the story notices. Sometimes a character might complain if you're rude to them, and I think that's always it's always nice when you can actually, as a player, I think, find these little spots. But of course also it's kind of one challenge that we have is to not make you want to run away, to actually make you want to follow that story along. And usually, when we can tell that, while playing our quests, people just, they start looking around and they start running away. And probably something's also wrong with our quest and we should change our approach a little.
This might actually happen when you present choices that are not intuitive for the player at the point where they are presented to you. Because as quest designers, we have to sort of anticipate what would be the natural reactions, not only for the player, but also for Geralt, when presented with a problem, right? It really feels bad when you want to approach a certain situation.
Hamza, quand tu dis OP, c'est-à-dire
in a certain way.
Ah, trop cheaté, c'est ça.
What we need to do is we need to anticipate what the player might want to do, and then when that choice presents itself, it feels really good because you can actually do that thing that logically made sense to you, right?
And also we kind of have to give you that power to be able to make those choices. So all three of the Witcher games are RPGs, so role-playing games,
Je pense que oui, hein, c'est vrai qu'elle est très... quand tu compares avec voilà, les... et encore dans une certaine mesure, c'est à peu près équilibré. Mais ce serait plutôt... Moi, ce qui m'intéresserait, ce serait sa capacité de voyager à travers les mondes, en fait. De voir où est-ce qu'elle atterrit, les dangers qu'elle peut rencontrer, des choses comme ça. C'est vraiment ça que j'aimerais voir.
But we kind of try to do it naturally. So as an example, you might walk by some peasants that complain about, someone raised the taxes again. And
ça c'est quelque chose que j'adore dans les jeux. J'aime bien juste me balader, écouter les PNJ parler, parce qu'on apprend énormément de choses en fait. Sur le jeu, sur le folklore, les choses comme ça. Rien qu'en écoutant les PNJ, c'est ouf ce qu'ils ont fait.
That's not a good choice. That's just, choosing A and B, and I don't know what A and B are, or what they could cause. So that's also a very important job that we have to make that possible.
Sometimes we use the player's character Geralt as a tool for
Antoine, je suis d'accord pour tout ça. Une des meilleures DLC qui existe, je pense. Vraiment incroyable, le monde qu'ils ont fait.
Because the Witcher universe is books, comics, series, movies. There's this famous Polish movie, and all of this stuff has built a layer of expectations that fans, even us, right? I remember the first time we saw the Yennefer model. Like everyone gathered at Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz's computer, our quest director. Well, he was lead back then. And everyone gathered around his computer and they were looking at how Yennefer looks in the game.
Bah oui, parce qu'elle n'était pas dans le 1 et le 2, alors j'imagine, ouais. Les gars, ils devaient être trop contents.
But at the end of the day, it was really something to see, the mental image that we had of her reading the books and watching the movies rendered on the computer screen, and then, a big privilege of getting to actually use this model, right? And make quests with it and all of that stuff. So yeah.
All right, so maybe let's get a little bit to the star of our games, which is Geralt of Rivia.
Parlons un peu du GG.
As you're playing The Witcher, you're playing Geralt. And there are some unique challenges when essentially making him a video game character that you as a player are controlling. Maybe let's talk a little bit about that part.
Yeah, this is actually super interesting because I noticed it first.
Manfred, arrête de râler. Enjoy.
So there's this whole gamut
je pense que c'est en prévision du patch, honnêtement, du patch Witcher 3 qui font tout ça. Et peut-être aussi, je pense, redorer un peu leur blason après toute la polémique cyberpunk. Je pense que là, voilà, ils se retranchent un peu sur quelque chose qu'ils maîtrisent vraiment. Perso, je me plains pas, hein, même si c'est sorti en 2015, c'est toujours un plaisir de les écouter parler de Witcher.
Because by doing these things, by sword fighting, by mixing potions, researching monsters, talking to people, really, also, that's a big part of it. You start to feel like a Witcher, basically, because that's what you're doing for your interaction with the game, right?
Well, it's also for us, we just had to pretty much adopt his character. Because I think for many people, when they see Geralt for the first time, they think like, oh, he has a deep, raspy voice. He's probably some graph, some action hero. But the thing is, Geralt is a bit more than that. He actually has a lot of depth as a character.
Exactement.
I really like his dry humor,
Et c'est quelque chose, je trouve, qui manque énormément dans la série Netflix. Il est trop... dans la série Netflix, il est un peu trop premier degré.
But also, basically, Geralt has a unique
il manque énormément de profondeur, je trouve.
He is a mutant. And the world of The Witcher, is a fantasy
le bon
world, but
Régis,
also
le bon Régis.
has lots of, real life topics. There's lots of racism in this world. There's sexism. It is a fantasy world, but it's kind of
place.
Exactly. It is a place that could have existed. Mix the real medieval world with fantasy. So Geralt is an outsider. Geralt has cat eyes. He has white hair, and people do know what a Witcher is. A Witcher is there to kill monsters. But for most people, a Witcher is not that much better than a monster. They're accepted as long as they do their job. Exactly, they're a mutant.
He says that he's not human multiple times.
Yeah,
he doesn't feel like he belongs to the race, really.
Yeah, that's the thing. People, tend to spit at him when they see him in the streets, and you are essentially inhabiting this role. Geralt is not a shining hero in a shining armor. He usually often, he tries to do the right thing, but usually, you know, Witcher.
Ça lui revient toujours dans la figure.
But you know, in the end, if he's to make a choice between good and evil, he'd rather not make a choice at all. So of course, you know, we have to honor that character and, you know, make you really inhabit.
C'est un vrai plaisir, honnêtement, de les écouter parler. C'est quand je compare avec les tables rondes de Netflix, je me dis qu'ils ont vraiment pas compris les personnages, quoi. C'est terrible. Bon, après, ça fait plus de 10 ans que CD Projekt adapte les livres et l'univers, mais ils ont vraiment une excellente compréhension des romans, des thématiques, des personnages, c'est ouf quand même. Hein.
And yeah, they also have their own memories, which I invite you to see.
Oh là là. Si je pouvais visiter le studio, je serais tellement contente. J'ai vu qu'ils faisaient des visites parfois. Bon là, avec le Covid, je pense que c'est un peu mort. Mais sérieux, ce serait un tel kiff de visiter le studio. Une petite partie de Gwent.
Are we talking to each other, or are we talking to one of the cameras, or? I'm ready. Is everybody ready?
Witcher 1, woohoo!
No, to był fajny trailer.
Yeah, I remember Badowski talking about this like it has to be a magic hour.
Współpraca z Tomkiem Bagińskim, początek naszej znajomości.
To trailer, który oglądałem nie myśląc jeszcze o tym, że mogę pracować w branży gier.
Tak, to jest w ogóle pierwsza rzecz, którą zrobiliśmy, z której byliśmy bardzo dumni. Ja pamiętam, że wtedy to była dla nas strasznie ważna rzecz, bo to było CG. Pierwszy CG i to było coś niezwykłego.
I was kind of proud when this came out and I felt like yeah, we can do stuff.
Yeah.
Franchement, moi j'ai été très agréablement surprise par Witcher 1. J'ai trouvé que c'était vraiment un bon jeu. Hein. Pour voir qu'il date de 2007, qu'il est un peu, comment dire, encore un peu brut, pas tout à fait peaufiné. J'ai kiffé jouer à Witcher 1, c'est ouf hein, quand même.
O nie, niesamowite.
Well, you know what it is.
Jakie to były słynne zdjęcie z internetu, też w zasadzie memowe zdjęcie jest.
I never saw this actually. I don't think I've ever seen this photo.
No, po prostu nie było nas stać na wynajęcie dużej budki.
Oui, j'avais vu que c'était un tout petit studio qui débutait, ils avaient un truc, mais genre minuscule quoi.
Oh yeah, well our presence at E3 has come a long way, but I think E3 has come a long way as well.
Byliśmy taką grupą osób, która chciała zawojować, być lepsza od tych innych produkcji, które były wtedy na rynku.
Pamiątka, jak wygląda branża gier komputerowych w Polsce, gdy powstawał pierwszy Wiedźmin. To była trochę taka wolna
Statoun, merci pour le compliment. Tant que je me mets pas à ricaner comme Ruquier, ça va.
Takich hostów,
którzy
łapali dziennikarzy, przeprowadzali tam, odprowadzali, to oczywiście
na
było...
siłę.
No to było duże przedsięwzięcie i wszystko robiliśmy w takiej taktyce partyzanckiej.
Pamiętam, że mieliśmy plakaty, które chcieliśmy rozdawać i nikt ich nie chciał brać i wymyśliliśmy, że wbijemy się do kolejki Blizzarda i dawaliśmy ludziom
Antoine, il faut s'y mettre un peu, je pense que c'est un peu qui tout double, hein. Soit tu aimes, soit tu aimes pas. Soit tu accroches, soit tu accroches pas. Moi, j'avoue que j'ai accroché dès le départ. Bon, les doublages étaient un peu... Voilà. C'était un peu compliqué, mais je m'attendais à pire niveau gameplay. C'était quand même assez simple. Les trois modes de combat, avance, recul, voilà. Pour une débutante comme moi, j'ai trouvé ça parfait, honnêtement. Oui, j'ai vu, Obama il s'est fait offrir une copie de Witcher 2 quand il est venu en Pologne.
But I've been told that it is a great example
Niesamowite.
Wiem.
Oglądaliśmy przed chwilą to takie krzesełko i to stanowisko.
T'imagines, n'empêche, le coup de pub, Obama, donc, à l'époque président des États-Unis, conférence qui parle du jeu,
w bardzo krótkim czasie
incroyable.
zrobiliśmy jakiś taki ogromny skok do przodu. W zasadzie no tylko dzięki pracy ciężkiej bardzo wielu ludzi.
Wtedy sprawy jakoś przyspieszyły.
Je reste optimiste, même si au fond de moi, j'ai pas trop d'attentes, on va dire.
Jakąś rzeczą, która
Je me dis que ça peut pas être pire que la saison 1. Mais j'attends de voir. J'essaie de rester optimiste en tout cas.
W którym zacząłem sobie coraz mocniej zdawać sprawę z
Mais,
tego, jak bardzo
je suis inquiète quand même.
jest to ważne w skali globalnej.
Ktoś zadzwonił z kancelarii na recepcję i powiedział, że tutaj mają taką prośbę, chcieliby
Bonsoir Mathieu. On est d'accord, c'est ouf quand même cette histoire.
Grę w jakiejkolwiek edycji.
Je sais pas après s'il y a joué ou si... je pense pas parce que bon voilà, il doit avoir autre chose à faire Obama.
Ściemnić, więc poprosili o kontakt.
Ça aurait été sympa de le faire jouer en direct.
List od zarządu do prezydenta Obamy. Mieliśmy ileś wersji wydrukowanych na takim bardzo ładnym papierze i jak się podpisywałem, to źle się podpisałem, to musi ładniej...
Pamiętam, że ktoś biegał i prosił o podpisy i na pytanie dla kogo, to dla Obamy i wszyscy, aha, to jasne, dawali podpis i zajmowali się swoimi rzeczami.
Wanna?
Ojej.
Ah.
No, Geralt w wannie.
Jak jeździliśmy pokazywać grę,
La fameuse
za każdym
scène
razem
du
na
bain,
każdym
quoi, non mais
komputerze było trzeba
épique.
sprawdzić, czy działa, ustawić i pograć kilka minut. W związku z tym tą scenę widziałem nieprzyzwoicie.
Ah non,
dużo
Quentin, je te rassure, je vais me la faire en one shot, hein, la saison 2. Faut pas rigoler non plus. Mais on va bien voir.
No, I'm serious. There should be boils.
Moi, tout ce que je demande, c'est être agréablement surprise. Donc, je garde l'espoir.
Codziennie.
Z takimi fajnymi
zabawkami. Tak, zabawki są mojego syna, ale...
Geralt ilustrował wszystkie artykuły na PC Gamerze i za każdym razem, gdy nie dali jako ilustracji tego artykułu Geralta w wannie, to wszyscy czytelnicy protestowali głośno i musieli przywracać ilustrację tak, żeby to był rzeczywiście Geralt w wannie.
But it was a lot of work. Even the sponge that floats on the surface of it, and it has like a special shader.
Na Prima Aprilis zrobiliśmy kiedyś figurkę i to był prototyp, jedna sztuka na drukarce 3D stworzona, ale musieliśmy później zrobić prawdziwego, bo zbyt dużo osób chciało koniecznie, żeby była prawdziwa.
Je l'ai vu cette fameuse figurine de Gérald dans le bain.
Wow, mówiłem.
Oulala,
Poznaję tego gościa.
Trochę poszła technologia na czyś.
Et dans le 1, n'empêche, c'est incroyable toutes les références au livre. C'est incroyable, on pourrait faire une liste, mais de je sais pas combien de pages. Mais ils ont réussi à caser toutes les références qu'ils pouvaient au livre. Genre là, il vient de dire, je travaille avec Codringer et Fenn. C'est les avocats détectives qu'on trouve dans le 4e roman, quoi.
Widzę teraz, jak strasznie
tout du long, il y a des références au livre, c'est incroyable.
Teraz już tak nie robi się gier. No ale to oczywiście miało swój urok. Widać właśnie, tak jak powiedziałeś, nie? Jak strasznie się technologia zmieniła.
We came a long way from this. I hope.
From that. Do you know what I think? Yes, we've definitely come a long way. We've definitely come a long way from a lot of things here.
Nie tylko jeżeli chodzi o grafikę, ale też mimikę postaci, no w ogóle wszystkie animacje, to w jaki sposób prezentowane jest scena.
The repeating non-met in dialogue. It was like, okay, so if you exit the conversation here and you reinitiate the conversation, he'll say this line over and over again. I'm all ears, White Wolf. I'm all ears, White Wolf.
I'm all ears, White Wolf.
We kind of knew how to use them, but kind of didn't know how to use them. So there were some really awkward.
Statoun, je suis d'accord, il faudrait vraiment la date. Ça fait des mois qu'on attend d'avoir la date de ce satané patch.
Wiedźmin 1, Wiedźmin 2,
Surtout qu'il sera gratuit hein, pour ceux qui ont déjà les versions console ou alors une version sur ordi. Le patch est gratuit, hein. C'est ouf.
Cała stylistyka tego, to jest w jedynce mieliśmy estetyczne białe tło, w trójce podobnie, a w dwójce totalny Hollywood, eksplozje, wszystko
à
w
20h55 on aura la date alors.
Oddalają się
Okay.
płomienie.
Bon.
To scena z Desperado, jak z Banderasem. No, ale to smaczy.
Je sais pas pour vous, mais moi là, je peux rester des heures à les écouter, il n'y a aucun problème. Alors que la table ronde là, de Netflix, c'était un peu... Ouais, c'était moins... Je sais pas, c'était un peu moins... je vais pas dire intéressant, mais un peu moins agréable à suivre, on va dire.
With The Witcher 2, we actually gave body to the continent. You know,
we started to explore.
We started sailing. Right? Yeah. We started exploring the universe.
Przy dwójce to chyba ta okładka trochę tak powstawała. Ja pamiętam, że mieliśmy masę różnych wersji okładek wszystkich gier ze świata.
Mathieu, je suis d'accord, hein, c'est pour ça aussi que je pense après ils ont pu faire les jeux Thronebreaker et Gwent et surtout le jeu Gwent pioche vraiment dans tout le folklore, dans tout le lore de l'univers avec un peu plus de liberté justement. C'est vraiment un bon exemple en fait de cette leur qualité d'adaptation, en fait, je trouve. Oh, je l'ai vu cette vidéo, c'est trop touchant pour les 10 ans de Witcher.
No, to jest share factor.
So, might be my birthday, but I say, here's to you.
C'est trop mignon.
Jak o nim myślę, to sobie przypominam notatkę.
J'arrête, je suis trop fangirl là.
Że to się skończyło i nie, to nie istnieje.
No, to jest świetne zakończenie trzeciej części Wiedźmina w Toussaint. To jest taka kropka nad i.
Właśnie zakończone jeszcze w takim miejscu, które bardzo przyjemnie się kojarzy. Wakacyjnie, urlopowo.
I just need to say something that we went a hell lot of work to actually upres all our textures and we have much better textures nowadays, so I'm so proud
So this is shit.
Yes.
Pokazaliśmy go na PAX-ie w Seattle, na panelu urodzinowym i pamiętam, że tam odważyliśmy się wynająć taką wielką salę, taki amfiteatr na 2300 miejsc. Miałem mega stres, że nie wypełnimy sali, ale potem się okazało, że było na full i mega wrażenie było.
No, ciar faktor.
No, łezka wokół się kręci.
Czy to koniec?
Geralt started talking to gamers directly. You know, we broke the fourth wall and you know, there was a little bit of winking, a little bit of smile. That sort of freed us up a little bit, you know. And I think there's still lots more to do with this franchise.
Definitely.
You know.
And especially with the better textures.
Especially with the better textures. Ready?
4. Nie ma drugiego człowieka, na którego bym tak często wpadał leżącego na ziemi w jakiejś salce, jak Marcin. Myślałem wiele razy, że salka jest pusta, po czym się okazywało, że Marcin leży na ziemi i z kimś rozmawia. I myślałem na początku, że to jest jedyna pozycja, w której spotykasz się z ludźmi.
He is the really grumpy, but sometimes interesting folk that I know here, and I would like to thank him for this years of cooperation.
Pamiętam, jak pojechaliśmy do Kolonii na targi, no i wszyscy się przygotowywali. Między innymi były takie dodatkowe atrakcje na zewnątrz i była taka atrakcja, która polegała na tym, że wchodziło się do wielkiej kuli przezroczystej i na takim ograniczonym boisku można było się poturlać. I ty wskoczyłeś do tej kuli i tak ją rozbujałeś, że wyskoczyłeś poza to boisko i gdzieś tam się daleko poturlałeś. I to jest w ogóle taki symbol tego, że obojętnie jakich momentach kryzysowych, ty jesteś niezłomny, pełen energii.
En parlant de Cyberpunk, dans le chat, il y a qui y a joué. Et est-ce que vous avez eu les fameux soucis dont j'ai tellement entendu parler sur Twitter?
I zawsze łapałem się za głowę, o Boże, nie?
j'ai lu que ceux qui avaient joué sur ordi avaient kiffé, avaient vraiment aimé l'univers, l'histoire, les quêtes, les choses comme ça. Mais que pour les joueurs console, il y a tellement de bugs qu'ils ont vraiment pas pu apprécier le jeu en fait.
To dla mnie jest najważniejsze w pracy z tobą.
I don't know a more precise individual in my life. You're thin and you're lanky and physically you remind me of a scalpel. You're Krzysztof the Scalpel Christian to me.
Drugą rzecz jeszcze pamiętam, że kiedyś na korytarzu gdzieście sobie siedzieli i
donc c'est un peu 50-50 là. Suivant si c'est sur PC ou sur console alors.
Smok, kreska, coś, tutaj elfy, atak. Tutaj mówię, wow, ale super, mamy taką wielką sesję roleplay, która trwa przez pół ich życia.
Pamiętasz, jak skończyliśmy Wiedźmina pierwszego i zrobiliśmy imprezę taką małą i w pewnym momencie ktoś z nas wpadł na pomysł, nie wiem, czy to nie ty czasami, żeby te wielkie tablice korkowe, na których błędy przechodziły z jednej kolumny do drugiej, a już były niepotrzebne, gra była zamknięta, żeby je rozwalić, żeby już mieć, żeby zrobić.
Et du coup, j'ai vu que je crois qu'il y a il y a un patch qui est sorti il y a pas longtemps sur Cyberpunk il y a quelques jours, je crois, non? Ou alors ils l'ont décalé, je sais plus ce que j'avais vu.
If you've been with us from the start, then you're no stranger to their music. Our house band is back. The amazing Marcin Pibivovic and Percival, take it away.
Ils sont en concert à Paris, je le redis, en avril prochain. J'ai pas encore chopé mon billet, mais j'attends de voir si le Covid c'est reparti pour un tour. Mais s'il y en a qui sont intéressés, venez, on va se marrer, ça va être cool. Ok, donc Cyberpunk toujours en attente de nouveautés. Ah, sneak peek Nightmare of the Wolf. Donc on va avoir un petit teaser sur l'animé consacré à Vesemir. C'est vrai qu'on n'avait pas beaucoup d'infos pour le moment, à part, je crois, il y a quoi? On sait que ça va être en 2D. Je crois que ça sort... Je crois pas qu'on ait la date de sortie. Et par contre, il y a un rating moins de 18 ans apparemment, de ce que j'ai vu. Hein. Donc ça va être chaud. Antoine, je crois que je suis d'accord, hein, il y avait vraiment une grosse hype. Et je pense qu'aussi que la déception, elle vient de là quand même. Mais bon, c'est aussi la faute du studio qui l'a vraiment sorti trop tôt, quoi, qui a vraiment pris trop de risques. Mais de ce que j'ai lu apparemment, quand Witcher 3 est sorti, il y avait aussi des problèmes, pas autant que Cyberpunk bien sûr, mais il y avait quand même pas mal de problèmes, des trucs, des bugs, des trucs comme qui pourrissaient un peu l'expérience du jeu. Mais par contre, ils se sont rattrapés assez vite derrière avec un patch, si je me rappelle bien de ce que j'ai vu.
Thanks again, Marcin Pibivovic and Percival, for setting us up right. For this panel, we've lost the deck of destiny because, well, basically from this point on, only pure knowledge can save you. The name of the game is Geralt of, wait for it, Trivia. Such a good day, whoever came up with that. And the goal is to determine which of my next panelists truly deserve the title of Lore Master. So let's give it up for showrunner, executive producer, and all-round Witcher whiz, Lauren Schmidt-Hisrick.
Ouh là là, c'est un peu exagéré de parler de prodige quand même, hein, faut pas déconner.
That's amazing.
I'm for hire. I'll just follow you around, shouting your name loudly with an arm gesture.
Love it. I'm
Excellent.
so ready for this game.
Excellent. She's joined by the man who follows in her footsteps, writer on The Witcher and showrunner for The Witcher Blood
Declan de
Origin.
Barra.
It's Declan de Barra! And are you all right, Declan? You okay?
I'm good. I'm just geared up and ready to destroy my former friend who's now my mortal enemy.
Ouais, j'avoue, c'est un peu lèche-bot, un peu. On flatte dans le sens du poil.
Okay.
Bon, après, ils vont pas non plus lui dire t'as fait de la merde avec ta saison 1.
Lead quest designers Boaget Augustnik and Philippe Weber.
Hello.
Hi, Blage,
Hello,
how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
Yeah, you're good? You happy? You're excited?
Yeah, I am, sure. I want to
Ah ouais,
see what
Splatoon
we're going
limite
to
version
do here.
PS2 à ce point-là. Oula, c'est. D'accord. Moi, j'ai vraiment pas joué, donc je sais pas ce que ça vaut, honnêtement. Faudrait que j'aille voir des let's play, voir ce que ça donne.
All right, well, fair enough. I think it's one of these sort of like weird things where you're like, no one's really competitive, but then suddenly everyone's very. Yeah. Look at you leaning in your seat, all aggressively ready, Declan. Anyway.
Donc en fait, là, ça va être genre Netflix versus CD Projekt.
You're divided into teams, so Lauren and Boaget, you're the blue team.
Ah non, ils mélangent, ok.
And Philippe, you are the red team, okay? So in a minute, I'll start with the questions, and there's basically going to be 9 in total, which is 4 for each, and then 1 decided.
C'est sur le lore, apparemment, des questions sur le lore pour voir qui c'est qui le connaît le mieux.
And your team 1 point, but answer incorrectly, and the opposing team has the opportunity to potentially steal your point. So, I mean, feel free
Je pense bien sûr que les questions étaient préparées à l'avance, des choses comme ça, donc
but obviously the opposing
on
team
va
is
voir.
listening, so don't give too much away, or you might lose a point. And you know, you viewers at home, do you think that you can outdo the pros at all of these Witcher lore questions? But do share your answers with us by tweeting using the hashtag WitcherCon.
Ok.
Right. Hopefully that's all clear.
It is.
Medium.
Lauren, that you do know that we've replaced there's panels underneath you. If you get a wrong answer, you go into the fiery depths.
9 questions en tout, elle a dit.
No pressure at all. I mean,
Ok, on va voir. Je vais pas tweeter, mais on va voir.
It's actually fire and spikes.
Et les gars, on joue dans le chat, hein, allez-y, on va se marrer. Non, Mathieu, n'exagérons pas, il y a plein de trucs que je maîtrise pas.
Okay, so first question is for the blue team.
Alors.
So let's see how well you really know dear old Geralt. So, for a man of surprisingly few words, he's actually got a huge amount of monikers. Can you name all 6 of them?
Boucher de Blaviken.
I have them on this card here, just in case.
Boucher de Blaviken, loup blanc, Gwynblade. Attends,
okay, let's go with the easy ones then. Let's get the easy ones out of the way.
Le boucher de Blaviken, le loup blanc, Gwynblade.
Which in Elven or Elvish is Gwynblade. In English, that will be pronounced how? Gwynblade?
Gwynblade.
It's Welsh.
Attends, il y a quoi d'autre?
Yeah.
Cheveux blancs, on l'appelle.
Butcher of Blaviken.
Of course.
One of the more popular ones.
Attends.
Classic. The classic B.O.B.
Son surnom.
Isn't there another Butcher one? There's another one with Butcher.
Attends.
The Butcher of White Orchard.
Yes, okay, you got 4.
Yes.
Ah, mais il parle des livres ou des jeux?
There's another one I wanted to say about. There's the one we used in the game also.
Cheveux blancs.
Throwaway line in the books. It's
Ravix, ouais.
of Forehorn.
Forehorn, yes.
Wow. In Polish.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
right.
So,
sounds kind of dirty.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of dirty.
It does. Have you ever? No.
No, it's just Polish.
So we.
Boucher de Blaviken, boucher de White Orchard. Oui, donc c'est mélanger jeu et truc.
It's really going to kick yourself. It's a quite straightforward one.
Cheveux blancs. Dans le jeu, il se fait souvent appeler.
The white one.
Let's see if they've got it right, and they have. Yes, all 6 right. So the point
cheveux blancs,
goes to you, Lauren.
Nice.
Kicking off. That was a tough.
That's like a multi. I think we get more points for that because that's a lot of answers.
Moi, je me rappelle dans le jeu, il se fait souvent alpaguer en mode cheveux blancs, venez voir ce que je vends, ou un truc comme ça.
He sells illicit kittens in Blaviken. And Bob. Bob is a nice name for a Bob. That's a nice name for a Witcher. Bob.
Bob the Witcher.
And any Blackadder fans out there will get that.
And you know why he said it like that?
Why?
Because he used to have a stutter, so it was Bob. Yeah.
Well, we also forgot a really important one. Because when Geralt was a young guy,
oui, il voulait se faire appeler
what's your proper Witcher
Geoffrey,
he wanted to be Roger Eric Bellegarde, and Vesemir told him he's an idiot. So I think that's always my favorite one.
Bravo, bravo, bon gars, bon gars.
We also could say that it's Sir Geralt because he did get knighted at some point, right?
Right.
That's a good point.
Exact.
Yeah.
I feel like
tu vois les vrais connaisseurs
Yeah,
là.
have Mev stepping in.
Like, how long can we keep going right
No,
now?
the point's already gone. I think that's basically it. But it was fun to hear all these other names. That was pretty good. So, red team. So now we're on the topic of Geralt.
Bon, moi je me donne un
Which
point.
creature or being gave Geralt the scar across his left eye?
Oh.
Was it from winking too much?
Ça, il en parle à Ciri quand il la retrouve à la fin de Witcher 3. Attends, je ne me rappelle plus. Est-ce que c'était une wyverne ou une cocatrix? Cocatrix,
A little bit more specific than that.
Spala.
Cockatrice of Spala?
Ah, yes, they got it right. Ding, 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 ding. Point to the red team. Oh, even Steven.
How many times is that said in the game? How many times?
Une seule fois, je crois.
I'll be completely honest. I think it's just kind of a throwaway line. It's Geralt mentions it, but I could not recall if there is a big story behind it. That seems like something maybe.
Il en parle à Ciri quand il la retrouve parce qu'elle lui dit je me rappelle plus. Elle dit je me rappelais pas que tu avais cette cicatrice là au-dessus de l'œil. Il lui dit souvenir d'une cocatrix. Ça je me rappelle.
Could you imagine like Witcher season 7? And it's like, good evening, I am the cockatrice of Spala. I've come to kill you.
I would fully watch that.
I don't think it talks.
Fully watch that.
Je crois pas que ça parle non plus les cocatrix, mais bien tenté quand même.
Next question for the blue team. All right, so from ghoul bites to other things that have kind of strange effects on the mind and body, who or what is Rydwaith Carthian? Is it one, a monster that controls minds?
Ah mais attends, en plus c'est en anglais. En anglais donc.
Is it 3, heartache in Hanlinga? Or is it 4, an influential mage?
It sounds made up.
Carthian, ça me dit rien du tout. Hein.
I think I know this one.
That's true.
But I'm afraid of saying it. Okay, we're gonna try it.
Just do it.
I think
je dirais une plante, moi. Mais sinon, je pense.
Are they right? Is it an exotic plant? Yes, you are correct.
Ça pouvait être qu'un nom de plante, hein, honnêtement. Est-ce que c'est pas la plante qui fait parler roche dans la Ablette dans le jeu? J'ai un doute.
Right, okay, so it's not just plants that you should be wary of in The Witcher. The universe is full of dangerous creatures too, and each one more horrendous than the last. Which far from friendly foes silhouette do we see here? Is it number 1, a gold dragon? Number 2, a basilisk? Number 3, a griffin? Or number 4, a green dragon? Let's see it.
First of all, I did not approve this picture of me at all.
C'est pas un dragon. C'est un basilic ou un griffon? Non, c'est pas un griffon. Je crois que c'est un basilic. On dirait un griffon ou un basilic, l'un ou l'autre. Je vois pas bien.
It looks like me coming home from a night out.
I think because the way it's hunched over, what would you think, a basilisk?
On dirait un griffon. Griffon ou basilic? C'est pas un dragon.
I mean, maybe it's a bit cheating because I do recognize that it's from the game. So but it's made for me.
It's not cheating. That's the point of you being here.
What are you going with? Final
How
answer.
long are you going to let us go back and forth?
Okay.
It should be a basilisk, but it could also be a cockatrice.
J'avoue, vu le truc, ça y ressemble. Hein.
There's no cockatrice here.
That's not one of the answers.
Il n'y a pas de dragon de toute façon dans le jeu.
Like if you spilt some wine on the floor or something. Yeah.
Il n'y a pas de dragon dans le jeu de toute façon, donc griffon ou.
Yes, it is number 2, a basilisk.
Ouais, voilà.
Well done. Point. This is getting. Okay, I'm into this. This is fun. Right, question for the blue team now. Now, we already know that Henry Cavill was a huge huge fan of the books and the games. But it seems that he wasn't alone. I mean, apparently, Lauren, Declan, your colleague, Tomasz Baginski, wanted to get the show made so badly that he went kind of all in on a very extreme gesture. But what gesture was that? Number one, he wrote a passionate 25-page letter telling Sapkowski why the show needed to be made. Was it number two,
je savais pas qu'il avait fait quelque chose comme ça.
To serenade him for a full hour, sort of hope that's true. Number three, he made a pilot episode in which he portrayed both Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri. Actually, no, scratch that. I want that one to be the one. Or number four, he lobbied to make The Witcher part of Polish cultural heritage and thus secure a special grant needed to kickstart production. So many good endings here.
Alors là, moi, je suis vraiment pas au courant de ça, dis donc. Je dirais le 1 ou le 4. Le 1 ou le 4, peut-être.
So, do you know?
I do. I know this one.
Yeah.
Although I'm still a little bit surprised by the detail that I didn't know, which is I knew that he wrote Sapkowski a letter.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to make fun of him because who writes a 25-page letter?
I mean, first of all, who writes a letter anyway? But like, I mean, I presume was it handwritten?
I'm sure.
There's no way that was like, it's got to be cursive with like a quill or something.
Mais meuf, si le gars il est fan du truc et qu'il veut convaincre l'auteur, bien sûr qu'il va écrire une lettre de 25 pages. C'est ça quand t'es passionné. Enfin.
I mean, it's Sapkowski. I think absolutely he read it, and then he probably ripped it up and threw it away.
Oh, that's a shame. I really wish that this existed so that we could read it. I want to know what anyone can say for 25
Je pense pas qu'il l'ait jeté, honnêtement.
Pretty impressive. But should we check
ça
that the
m'étonnerait
answer's
quand même.
Right? Unsurprisingly, it is correct.
Can you get it somewhere? Can you read it?
That'd be awesome. We gotta get a copy.
Yes.
Yeah, I bet we can ask for
Manfred, il y a des dragons dans Blood and Wine, mais tu peux pas les combattre normalement. Si je dis pas de bêtises.
That did happen. He told me this on a drunken night out. Because he got turned down on the 25-page letter. Because he camped outside that door.
Et Satoun, il faut arrêter de dire qu'il méprise les jeux, c'est pas vrai. C'est pas vrai. Il a juste dit que lui, les jeux vidéo, ça n'intéressait pas, ça faisait pas partie des choses qu'il aimait faire, ça l'intéressait pas. Mais il a dit qu'il avait vu des extraits, des choses comme ça, ils ont fait un travail remarquable. Il méprise absolument pas les jeux, c'est les vieux gamers là qui ont monté toute une histoire, une cabale contre Sapkowski à dire ouais c'est un bâtard. Il déteste CD Projekt, il les a traînés en procès, il déteste les jeux vidéo alors que c'est pas vrai du tout, faut arrêter.
Give in to Tomek.
And it worked.
Now you guys see why the writer's room of The Witcher is so much fun.
This is bad.
Yeah, madness. I love it.
Il est un peu toqué ce mec.
It's great.
It's
We
good.
have to get this letter.
Lovely. I mean, moving on. Red team. Okay, so as you all know well, lots of things get lost on the cutting room floor, and you know some probably. It's better for the better. Which cut did CDPR regret, though, in retrospect? Was it number one, a sequence where Ciri fights monsters whilst ice skating? Is it number two, the ability to swap horses? That's just mean, poor Roach. What would the game be without? Three, making the game a multiplayer. Or four, making Geralt an elven mage.
I remember this one. You got the easy one.
It's a cheating question again. Of course I know.
Ice
You know that one?
skating.
You know it.
But
Yeah, we all know it.
I'll give you a try.
Ciri avec,
the video game question.
Ciri sur les patins.
Because I don't know
je
the
pense
answer, I'm
pas.
going to have to guess here. It's either going to be swapping horses or ice skating with monsters. I mean, ice skating with monsters, I hope that was the thing because imagine at the end of it, like she does a pirouette, chops the head off a ghoul.
Antoine, en fait, il n'y a pas eu de procès, c'est juste qu'il y a une loi polonaise qui protège les auteurs et qui fait que quand, dans le cas de Sapkowski, quand il y a du succès sur leurs œuvres et qu'ils n'ont pas touché un pourcentage, on va dire, assez intéressant, il y a la loi qui les protège et qui leur donne le droit de réclamer un pourcentage un peu plus conséquent en fait. Mais ils sont pas allés aux tribunaux ou quoi que ce soit, ils ont juste appliqué cette loi, donc c'est parfaitement légal. Bon, c'est sûr qu'ils n'étaient pas spécialement contents, c'est du project, mais il n'y a pas eu de procès ou quoi que ce soit, ça s'est réglé à l'amiable. Mais les gens adorent faire des...
And you're right.
Thank you, Lauren.
Wow, yeah, you
faire des histoires comme ça.
You got too involved to be
J'ai même pas
right
écouté
there.
la réponse.
No. Oh, okay, all right, it's all right. Still all to play for, don't worry. So, Right, Lauren, okay, blue team. Now, when you think of The Witcher, I mean, it's really hard to not think of monsters. And, you know, Geralt may not actually face that many monsters in the books, but he does see his fair share within the series, you know, of the games and the show. My question is,
c'est peut-être pas de morale, ouais, mais n'importe qui refait pareil, honnêtement, je pense.
So, is it number 1, the Doppler, number 2, Alp, is it number 3,
le Selkimo,
or 4, Selkimo?
Le Selkimo, je pense.
Okay, so the Alp is
c'est un vampire. Alpire. Elle mentionnait dans un grain de vérité. Le Sylvain, pareil. Le Doppler, pareil. Selkimo, je pense pas. Hein.
I am going to firmly agree on that one. Yes.
Okay. Are they right?
Oui.
Yes, they are.
Yes,
you guys, obviously, you're going to know all the answers. I would be mad if you didn't, right? Okay, so there's a bit of a reason why I didn't ask you that question, Declan, because I believe that actually this we're about to see here is your handiwork.
Indeed, that is it. And there was another picture of it actually swallowed up poor Geralt.
Yeah.
And then Geralt cut his way from the inside out, killing the Selkimo.
Yeah.
And then he flees past Jaskier, who's going, what's going on? And then thousands of baby Selkimos come out chasing him while Geralt's covered in slime.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, we had to change for the script, and I had finished the writer's room, and you called me while I was on holiday in Spain, going, I need some dialogue for a pub patron who's describing this scene. And I was on a train, and I might have had a few
ça c'est dans l'épisode 4, quand il est à la taverne avec Jaskier, juste avant d'aller au bal, pardon. Ou les fiançailles de Pavetta.
Covered him all, it did. Swallowed him. Giant obsidian teeth of death. And everybody on the train was
loving it.
Loving it. Well, not loving it, calling the police.
Did you get your own seat though? Everyone's
like, Manfred, c'était. Moi, je trouve que c'est plutôt crédible quand même parce qu'il faut remettre les choses dans le contexte. Il y avait eu un premier studio qui avait acheté les droits pour faire le jeu et ils ont abandonné. Donc voilà, t'as déjà ça. Ensuite, t'as CD Projekt qui l'a contacté pour les droits. CD Projekt, c'était un groupe inconnu hein, à l'époque. C'était un tout petit truc. Il débutait vraiment dans la conception de jeux vidéo. Donc je peux comprendre qu'après l'auteur ils disent ouais ok j'ai déjà eu une première mauvaise expérience, alors on va la jouer safe, je vais prendre un petit pourcentage et puis voilà. Lettenhove.
The Ike of Denzile. Is it number 2, Jaskier or Dandelion? Or is it 3, the Detlef van Echretine?
C'est Jaskier.
4, Gonta Odim.
We would all be burned at the stake, quite rightfully so, if we didn't know this.
Aggressive.
C'est Jaskier.
I agree. The fans would drag us out and bury us alive.
Okay.
It is Jaskier and Dandelion. Of course, it's very important to him.
Let's see if you're right. Yes, you're right. Well done.
Big surprise.
C'est quoi son nom complet? C'est Jaskier Alfred Pankovic. Ouais, voilà, un truc comme ça.
I do think we can all agree that the bard always looks like $1 million. And he isn't the only one. Philip, I hear you guys are making sure that the Witcher 3 is looking equally suave and sleek on all next-gen hardware?
Oh, do I get to announce that? All right. Yeah, so if I can say, yes, we are working on a next-gen update for the next-gen consoles to make The Witcher Wild Hunt look extra smooth and extra great again. Of course, for people who already own the game and of course also on PC.
Ah ouais, la texture. Je regarde sur l'autre écran qui est un peu mieux là.
Oh oui. Netflix for some free DLC to add to the game. So as an example, you might be able to wear
Ils ont fait un DLC.
armor, you know, inspired by the Netflix series. And we'll have more.
Mais elle est moche l'armure de Netflix.
Is it me or does Geralt look a little bit moodier? A little bit moodier in that one. But I'm very excited as an excuse to play it all over again.
Genre elle y a joué, elle, au jeu. Lol. Ils veulent nous faire croire ça.
A bit of a frown.
Absolutely.
So, seeing as we've got at least one illustrator here in the studio, I thought it'd be kind of
Manfred, en fait, le premier studio a abandonné complètement le truc, donc je sais pas après comment ça s'est réglé, mais c'est les gars qui ont abandonné. Hein. Et j'ai bien lu, ils ont dit un DLC avec Netflix, on est d'accord, c'est ce qu'on a lu. Hein.
pretty clear.
DLC avec Netflix, je sais pas ce que ça va donner honnêtement.
Take it all in. Okay. The timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we've got 60 seconds on the clock. And remember, guys in Poland, Boże and Philip, let us know as soon as you know.
Okay, I'm going to draw my finger because it's not working.
I think I'm seeing a ghost. I'm
Skullface.
I'm seeing a moon wraith. I might be seeing.
Le cheval fantôme.
It's like a. No, it's an arm. Sorry, it's an arm.
The other one is cool. I see a cow with teeth.
Le premier truc,
That's 30 seconds gone. It's totally a
like so far, it has like four limbs, but it looks like very spidery.
Ah, l'autre c'est une kiki mort.
Shout out if you know.
No, it's a ghoul. It's a ghoul, right? It's very spindly, the face.
Oh, you got it.
Stop. Yes, you are right. It's a ghoul.
It has to be. Yeah.
I mean, that's just life.
Elle est moche quand même.
My drawing to that.
Elle est mal faite quand même dans la série, on va pas se
So with
mentir.
the final point going to the red team, that tallies up to a final outcome of 4 points to the blue team and 5 points to the red team. Declan's team is the winner. And
The only thing is, I think.
Mathieu, c'est même pas du délit de faciès, mais attends, quand tu l'écoutes parler, je sais pas. Ah oui, ça me donnait une excuse pour rejouer au jeu. Je sais pas. J'ai pas l'impression qu'on parle. J'ai pas l'impression que ce soit une fan. La meuf, vraiment une femme de l'univers qui présente le truc. Ça se sentirait un peu plus quand même au niveau du ton.
There was a prize. No one told me there's a prize. I would have actually got. Actually, no, I wouldn't have been able to answer the questions. I don't know why.
I'm just curious what the prize is.
You what?
Okay.
You got that
Are you
for
going
us?
to ship this?
Non mais après c'est peut-être complètement du délit de faciès et c'est moi qui suis vraiment en langue de vipère et peut-être qu'elle y a joué vraiment, hein, on sait pas mais ça faisait pas très crédible.
Oh my God.
I can't believe you did this for us.
That's okay
It's
because
so
I get a consolation prize.
What?
Ça tourne, il faut que je termine le 2, c'est vrai que j'ai un peu de mal là, à m'y remettre. Bizarrement, j'ai plus de mal avec le 2 qu'avec le 1, je sais pas pourquoi. Mais il faut que je m'y remette, il me reste un chapitre à finir, il faut vraiment que je m'y remette dès que possible. J'attends d'être en congé et je m'y remets sérieusement.
It floats, right? Is it polystyrene?
Sure it does.
So, you know, put the kids on that, they'll love it.
What do you have over there?
Oh, yeah, Philippe,
I think I have a nice little halberd.
Okay.
It's good for shaving.
Oh, so that's our prize?
How do you guys in Poland feel about that? I mean, Philippe, like, are you sad that he just gave away your giant
Le 3,
skull
j'attends le patch. Dès qu'il y a le patch, je le fais en live, il n'y a pas de
souci.
souci. Ce sera avec grand plaisir.
I'm happy with that.
They both work for home defense. You walk in the door, you see the halberd, you turn around, you leave. But you walk in and you see a giant griffin head and you say, who the hell slayed that? And I'm not messing with him.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's cheaper than paying for those alarm unit things.
I'd much rather have the skull.
Yes, agreed. I think the prizes laid out exactly as they should have.
Okay, so we'll swap weekends and weeks, all right? We'll just post it back and forth.
Every third Wednesday or whatever.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, look, Blue Team, it's my supreme pleasure to, you know, very unofficially pronounce you WitcherCon 2021 Lore Masters. So, I mean, do you want to share like a few words of victory with your fans or any potential, you know, future usurpers to your crown?
No words of victory. It's just been so exciting to be here and doing this today. And I've loved working with the team from CDPR on this too. It's been great to partner up and actually, you know, maybe someday we can end up in the same place at the same time. That would be exciting too.
Yeah, who knows?
Exactly. All 4 of us, the skull and the halberd.
Right.
That sounds like a party I want to go to. I'm not going to lie.
Some little barbarian mimic owls.
Yes, it's a date. You know, WitcherCon 2022 maybe.
Absolutely.
Do it.
Yeah,
that sounds
with
good.
lots and lots of fans.
Yep.
Definitely. So I do actually have one final question for you guys, for our lore masters here, and there's no points to be earned. You know, your win is safe here, but you could unlock a secret reveal for the audience if you get this one right. Okay. So we talked a little bit before about Geralt's ghoul bite earlier, and after that incident, Geralt is taken to safety by Jurga, but you know the White Wolf isn't really having it. He asks Jurga to take him to the Blue Mountains, saying, "He'll save me." Who is Geralt talking about here? Come on.
It's got to be Daddy Pants, right?
I mean, I wrote the line, so it's kind of unfair for me to answer it.
mean, you know, if Geralt has like one guy who he's always looking out for,
c'est généralement Vesemir. Mais Vesemir, il est pas dans les montagnes bleues.
Absolutely right. The answer is Vesemir. So well done, well done. But also, I have to say, Lauren, I did hear kind of like some sort of mutterings backstage that this sort of might be the year of Vesemir. So can you explain to me why?
Il est pas dans les montagnes bleues. Les montagnes bleues, c'est là où il y a les elfes. C'est complètement à l'est. Ça n'a pas trop de sens.
You know, I've spoken a lot about Vesemir. I'm really excited to introduce him in season 2, and to finally meet this man who basically created Geralt, who shaped Geralt.
Statoon, je me demande si c'est pas ça leur DLC, mais je pense pas quand même. Ça serait quand même assez pauvre comme DLC.
We are launching our first anime feature, Nightmare of the Wolf.
Enfin.
We are so excited for audiences to see this.
Wow, that looks incredible.
Oh.
That is pretty exciting.
That is
pas mal. Bon, après, c'est juste
wow.
And if you notice, there's a
c'est le
date
wallpaper
on this, so you're not
du
gonna have
truc.
to wait very long.
Ah, la date.
Really soon. It's that kind of time. I'm really sorry to say, but it is basically the end of panel 2. So I'd like to thank Boagie and Philippe for joining us from Poland. And of course to Declan and Lauren. And you guys at home.
Elle avait bien dit qu'il y avait une date. Bon, bah on n'a pas de date alors.
Right than they did?
Oh.
Oh, well, we'll find out soon enough. But I do hope that you stay tuned, because if you've enjoyed what's been revealed so far, you do not want to miss the next reveal that's coming right up.
Oh. Oh, un trailer. Sur quel écran je regarde? Là. Ouh. Ça fait très Castlevania. J'aime bien. Wow. Non, ça sort là. Oh, mais c'est bientôt. C'est dans un mois et quoi, une semaine?
Oh,
c'est génial. C'est ouf, ça me fait penser à Castlevania de ouf. Comment vous l'avez trouvé, sérieux? Et ça a l'air pas mal, hein, honnêtement. Si c'est inspiré comme Castlevania, perso j'ai adoré l'anime Castlevania, je valide à 100%. Ah, on va dans Carmoran?
Creating Carmoran for season 2 has been quite the adventure.
Allez.
We have worked so hard to bring this ancient keep to life, the place where witchers return each winter to rest and restore. I'm excited to welcome you all, legacy fans and new audiences alike, home to Carmoran.
Oula. Ça a l'air un peu trop propre quand même, pour voir que ça a été saccagé il y a presque un siècle.
Tells the story of how witchers endured amid the dark history of an evolving continent. The Carmoran scene in the video game is in the prologue of the first Witcher game, where players must defend the stronghold from the attack of Azar Javid and the Magister.
Yes! Witcher 1, quel plaisir! Ah mais quel vrai plaisir de le retrouver dans le 3.
Players are also able to explore the keep's surrounding regions and dig deeper into Witcher history. In the last few years, the Witcher universe has expanded.
Je suis d'accord, Castlevania, c'était ouf. C'était ouf, pas seulement au niveau de l'animation, mais au niveau de l'écriture. J'ai adoré. Si ça peut être quelque chose dans le même genre, ça sera un tel plaisir.
And then in season 2, we see the resulting dilapidation of this siege. At the very heart of Carmoran is the Great Hall, built in stunning detail for season 2. We see that the keep's tables are empty, its giant fire pit casting more shadows than light. At the center of the Great Hall stands the Medallion Tree, a mysterious and looming memorial, where the medallions of fallen witchers have been hung for hundreds of years, a reminder of the brotherhood that bonds them, even in death. We also glimpse the Witcher Armory,
pourquoi pas,
full
ouais.
of weapons and
Bizarre quand même.
elixirs to help the Witchers defend the continent and themselves against future attacks. And those who know, know. And finally, we explore the basement lab, a pivotal place of experiment and research. The lab is also where young Witchers are created, if they're lucky enough to survive the trial of the grasses. It's been an exciting journey, crafting a new piece of this Witcher world, from the page to the screen. We hope you love it as much as we do.
Ouais, on va voir. On va voir. Personnellement, j'étais pas vraiment emballée par tout ce qui était décor dans la saison 1. Ça faisait un peu trop carton-pâte, un peu vraiment trop de décor en fait. C'était pas vivant. Du coup, je sais pas comment ça va être pour Kermoren. J'espère qu'ils vont vraiment essayer de recréer une vraie ambiance, quoi. Pas, je sais pas, un truc comme ça en mode mémorial. Je sais pas ce que ça va donner.
I am always in awe as to how everyone comes together just to create this for the fans. And I'd actually like to show you something really special.
Ah, vous aussi, vous avez tiqué sur l'arbre, hein. C'est bizarre ce truc-là. Hein. Parce que, de ce que je sais, il y a un dicton qui dit les sorceleurs, aucun sorceleur n'est jamais mort dans son lit. Donc, en général, il meurt sous les griffes d'un monstre ou quelque chose comme ça. Ça paraît être difficile après de récupérer les médaillons. Ou alors est-ce que c'est les médaillons des sorceleurs qui sont morts pendant l'attaque de Kermoren? Je pense que ce serait plutôt ça. Mais ouais. On va voir.
Over the course of filming. Extremely long pole. And obviously we need to maneuver the head as per the choreography.
This one, the other one, his arm everywhere, and he gets, across, and it's just absolute chaos. It's what I think the fans want to see. Like right at the end, it just all kicks off and it's full on.
J'ai même pas suivi en fait ce qui disaient les deux gars en vert.
It seems there's always more to learn about the people behind the Witcher universe and the amazing work that they do. Next, we're going to take a look at the Witcher Monster Slayer.
Le jeu sur téléphone.
This new adventure in the world of The Witcher will be available shortly. So let's dive in and hear what it's all about from Raphael.
Ça va être un espèce de Witcher Pokémon Go, mais version Witcher. Alors là, j'ai hâte de voir ça.
Have you ever dreamt of being a Witcher? In our game, The Witcher Monster Slayer, you'll strap on the boots of a professional monster hunter and explore the real world around you. By combining a location-based genre and augmented reality with the visual quality known from The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, we're bringing the monster-infested realm directly into our world. To feel what it's like to be a professional Witcher for yourself, all you need is your phone. But our game is not just about hunting and killing.
Ouais, c'est ce que j'allais dire. Si c'est juste tuer des bestioles, ça m'intéresse pas.
It's the adventures we live that define our experience as a Witcher. And that's what we'd like to share with you today.
The Witcher Monster Slayer tells your stories and takes you on adventures in a completely novel way. It will be witchering like you've never seen before. Imagine facing an iconic task that only a Witcher can handle.
Who are you?
Lifting a curse that has turned an innocent child into a bloodthirsty Striga.
Since when does gold burn?
Few have ever succeeded in breaking the spell or killing this particular beast, though many have tried. In The Witcher Monster Slayer, this task will fall to you. Put your bravery to the test and see if you have the power to save the cursed child, where so many others have failed.
Je sais pas ce que ça peut donner sur téléphone.
To rise to this challenge, you'll have to pay attention to the world around you because the game plays out in real time. Like a true Witcher, you'll need to prepare, bide your time, and wait until nightfall for the fearsome Striga to appear.
Ah, mais c'est un peu aussi comme dans Pokémon Go, genre il y a plus de Magikarp vers les rivières, des choses comme ça.
Since the worldwide premiere is just around the corner, prepare your phone and be ready for July 21st, 2021.
La vache, mais il y a plein de trucs cet été.
It's going to be available for free both on Android and iOS, and you can also pre-register right now on Google Play and grab some cool stuff on release day. The path awaits you.
Ça peut être sympa, n'empêche. Comme ça, pour jouer, mais je pense que ça peut vite devenir quand même redondant. S'il n'y a pas tous les aspects à côté. Ah, la musique bien badante de Witcher 3. La musique des moires. Ah, elle est tellement cool. Qu'est-ce qu'il est génial ce groupe, sérieusement. C'est ouf. Ah, Statoon, on est d'accord. C'était ouf. Dans les marais avec les moires, mais c'était un truc de dingue. Oh, plus, encore du Percival.
Plenty to look forward to in the coming months or even years. But there's one topic that we haven't really touched upon during this edition of WitcherCon, and that's figurines. So find out next how these collectible
Olivier,
pieces were
dans des
created,
films.
what inspired them, and what they really mean to their makers.
Les figurines,
Hi everyone.
ok, ça y
I'm
est,
Alexandra
c'est
Jaroszkiewicz from CD Projekt
l'heure du
Red,
merchandising.
commerce director here at the studio. I'm also responsible for the production of the CD Projekt Red gear line of Witcher World figures. We've been blown
Franchement,
away by
leurs
the love
figurines
you've
là, de
shown
CD
our
Projekt,
Japanese-inspired takes on
elles
Geralt
sont
and
franchement
Ciri.
pas mal. Hein.
Today, I want to talk to you about the creative process behind these designs, which were so rewarding for artists to work on. Folklore and myths like the ones you see in The Witcher often share common themes across the world. Having previously played with this idea, we knew The Witcher's character could work in vastly different settings. Our partners have done some amazing work with figures in the past. They brought the designs of The Witcher to life in such a detailed way, staying very faithful to the style of the games. So, it was enticing for us to step outside the bounds of the dark medieval The Witcher is known for, and into a different
faudra que j'aille
kind
voir
of a dark
Ginger
medieval
Tale,
with
je connais
Geralt
pas du
running.
tout. J'irai faire un tour.
You can see that all you know and love about Geralt is right there
Et non
in
mais
full
cette
force.
figurine, elle est tellement rare que quand je la vois, mais c'est à des prix hallucinants sur eBay, sur le Bon Coin, c'est ouf.
It was an exciting moment for us seeing the figure take shape. We experimented with the style and spent a lot of time figuring out how to translate the White Wolf's character and the world of The Witcher, so it made sense in this new context, and honored it too. When we revealed Ronin Geralt, the feedback from fans was amazing. That gave the art team a lot of confidence to look deeper into this setting inspired by Japan's history, see what other aspects we could explore. We went on to do so with Ciri and the Kitsune.
Elle est cool aussi, celle de Ciri, j'adore.
Feel powerful and supreme, but also incredibly elegant. Her stance is tall and proud, very confident, and her traditional bright yellow yukata emphasizes that as well. And like Geralt, the character of Ciri is similar to what we know from the games, but this setting gives her a different essence. By taking Ciri and building this Japanese scene around her, it also feels like it adds to her mythology too. After all, she's the lady of space and time. I think she was the perfect follow-up to our first figure. We paid a lot of attention to the individual settings for each figure. We carefully planned the composition and design of each figure's base to help us tell their stories and set the scene. Geralt's is a quiet moment as he hunts his way through the Koyasan's Okunoin cemetery, while Ciri's is more destructive, placing her in the ruins of destroyed shrine. We took our time to make the base as detailed as possible, especially when it comes to grounding them in the Japanese culture and mythology. The creatures that accompany each character
Après Statoon, il y a les autres figurines qui sont vraiment adaptées des jeux vidéo. Je sais plus c'est quoi, c'est Dark Horse ou je sais plus qui c'est qui l'a fait. Du coup, ouais, si on veut vraiment la touche originale, donc il y a ces figurines-là. Mais j'aime bien ce qu'ils ont fait avec celle-là, je trouve ça original quand même.
Working on Geralt and Ciri has given us a lot of new ideas for possible stories to capture in these standalone scenes. And now I am happy to share with you our latest addition to our family of figures, Yennefer.
Ah.
We've designed Yen as a kunoichi, a female ninja. The colors and the atmosphere fit her beautifully. And the ninjutsu style connects nicely with her character. When we envision Yennefer in this magical Japanese realm, the ninjutsu aura makes total sense for such a mighty sorceress. It balances a mystic atmosphere with unmatched skill. That's Yen all over. Similarly to Geralt and Ciri, Yen is also accompanied by her own creature, a Nekomata. This two-tailed cat acts as a Yennefer's familiar. For a kunoichi of such great poise, power, and magical knowledge, this agile little feline friend makes the perfect companion. Like we did with our previous figures, we've put a lot of love into designing this latest reimagining, and we can't wait to show you the final result in not too long. Enjoy the rest of the WitcherCon. Bye!
Okay. Merchandising.
Now there's a person who's found their calling, and you know what? They're not alone. In the next installment of Humans of the Continent, we'll unveil another one of the invisible forces working passionately to make Season 2 the best it can be.
Whenever a cast member who's wearing lenses is scheduled to go on set, I'll be
parti.
there. My name's Patrice Patel, and I'm responsible for dealing with all the contact lenses.
Ah là là, les lentilles de Gérald.
Are all supplied by Eye Ink FX. Christina Patterson, she's hand-painted every single one on the show. With the different worlds of the Witchers, there's been lenses in different worlds as well. So we've got Yennefer with the lenses. Some of the elves have it. And then when characters turn into like creatures, it's been great interacting with the cast members and seeing how all that world's been created, from going from makeup to lenses to actually costume and seeing them all ready to go and acting on set. And just that journey, it's great to see that.
Ok. C'est vraiment du remplissage. Hein.
I've been joined by the very lovely newbie. Paul, how are you enjoying your first WitcherCon?
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been throwing you in right at the deep end, right from the get-go, like, into a con.
Oh, it's all fun. I'm happy to be here.
Well, good. You know, and it's been lovely to have you, I have to say. And we've seen some awesome stuff so far. But, you know, don't go anywhere. We've got our lovely house band warming us up for the fourth and final panel. Tales from the White Wolf, which is where host Josh Horowitz is going to have a chat with Henry Cavill.
Et Mathieu, à nos actes manqués, bon, ce sera pour une prochaine fois peut-être. Croisons les doigts. Statoon, t'inquiète, moi aussi je râle. C'est vrai que le truc sur les lentilles, ça n'avait pas trop d'intérêt. C'est vraiment du brodage en fait. C'est comme au lycée quand on dit rédige un truc de 200 lignes. Putain, t'es arrivé au bout des trucs et tu brodes pour arriver aux 200 quoi. Ça fait ça un peu quand même. Et voilà, c'est tout ce qu'on veut. Nous on veut du Percival, on s'en fout des lentilles. La chanson de Priscilla. Allez les gars, chantez avec moi dans le chat. Je plaisante.
Tu t'enfuis alone. Your scent very stout, lilac sweet. To dream of raven locks and twisted stony, of violet eyes glistening as you will. I know not if fate would have us live as one, or if by love's blind chance we've been born. The wish I whispered when it all began, did it forge a love you might
Allez, je fais le dernier refrain.
never have found.
De mes songes, tu t'enfuis à l'aube, ton parfum de groseilliers, de lilas. Je veux sentir tes lambeaux plus noirs et ne perdre dans tes yeux noirs, glistening in the rain. Yeah! Vous saviez que c'est Triss qui chante. Je crois que c'est Triss. Non, c'est pas Triss. C'est qui chante ça? Si, je crois que c'est la doubleuse de Triss qui chante cette chanson. Je suis pas sûre.
Mr. Henry Cavill. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing, Josh?
It's so good to see you, man. Congratulations on. This is the first WitcherCon. This means you've done something right.
Yes, yeah, apparently so. Apparently so. It's exciting, very exciting.
Does it feel like a bit of validation? Obviously, this property means so much to you. You are a legit fan. But to know that the fans have come out in force and validated this first season and are ready for more just must mean the world to you.
Absolutely. It's, you know, when you go into a show like this or an IP like this, after having played the games and read the books, and I love it as much as all of the fans out there, and so I do everything I can to represent Geralt in the best way possible, and to have something like this happening and a second season, it's all very exciting and very validating, and I'm just glad that whatever I'm doing, whatever we're doing is.
C'est vrai qu'on peut pas lui enlever ça quand même. Cavill, quand même vraiment passionné par l'univers et par son personnage.
Welcoming environment. It's exactly what I imagined Henry Cavill's place to be.
This is well. I just figured if we're going to do it anyway, I might as well do it in my place.
Yeah, I'm glad you're comfortable. I'm
J'aurais juste aimé que Gérald soit un peu mieux représenté quand même.
Mostly poisonous.
I believe it.
Pas juste la grosse brute qui fait.
Your buddy, your new co-star Paul, was just gushing about you to a degree. Talk to me a little bit about is there any reciprocal gushing you want to get out of the way first of all, and what's it like to welcome new cast members to season 2? Is there an initiation at all when you join the Witcher cast?
Lambert, what a jolly nice chap. I really got on well with Paul, and I hope that I get to work with him a lot more in the years to come. It's initiation ceremonies or anything like that? No, not really. It was obviously a slightly off-kilter year, and so the regular initiations of maybe hanging out in an English pub and having a Sunday roast weren't quite the thing. But we obviously, I hope they enjoyed working with me, but I definitely enjoyed working with them, and it was.
Mathieu, merci beaucoup d'être passé. En tout cas, c'était cool.
Before we were looking at some footage before we got started of how ambitious the production is on this. I mean, the scale is gigantic. Is that the biggest difference between the production of something like Witcher and other things? You've been on major productions before, but is that the key difference, just sort of the practical sets, the environments? What would you say are the big differences?
I think it's more of a genre difference than anything else, because anything of scale is always scaled in its own way. And I mean, whether it be Superman, which it's contemporary, but it has the other fantastic elements to it, the superhero elements, which make things feel gigantic, even though it's just a gigantic green room. It's taken months of prep of wire work to get there. And then there's the genre stuff like this, where it's all sets and costumes and wigs and hours and makeup, and that makes that feel particularly large. But then there's also the Mission Impossibles, and Tom doesn't do anything on a small scale.
Right.
And Chris McQuarrie sort of does everything. So when he does it, it is magnificent, and everything is big in its own way, really. But yeah, with this, it's you notice it because you're walking onto a set like this, and that's in a room filled with other sets like this.
Right.
And it is extraordinary. It's a fun experience.
Lauren and Paul were also talking earlier about sort of the bond between Geralt and other Witchers, and how you kind of equated it in some ways to your own family dynamics with your brothers.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? Was that a useful tool for you?
Romain qui pose des
applying your
questions
own
qui fâchent.
experiences in your own family to even this fantastical world?
I think when it comes to the Witcher family, if you will, it's the same kind of family tag that I would put on not only my actual brothers of blood, but the people who are my friends, who I call brother.
Je ne sais pas si on va avoir des infos, n'empêche, avec cette partie-là, cette interview avec Henry Cavill. Je ne sais pas s'ils ne vont pas mettre le trailer peut-être à la toute fin. S'il y a un trailer.
We have our different opinions, our different modus operandi, and we don't necessarily all agree. And because we don't have that family thing, which is, you don't choose family, and so there's a lot more. Again, this is a greater debate, but with family, there tends to be a lot more in the way of highs and lows, because maybe it's because you always imagine family's going to be there.
Yes.
And
no matter what.
Yeah, even if you do something fairly horrific to one of them, and it's with these guys, it's not necessarily like that, because yes, they are a small guild, if you will, a very small and an increasingly smaller group of people, but it's because they are a unit like that, and because they have this shared sense of sorrow and loss, and the world is changing, and they are becoming more and more obsolete, that they do have a kinship there, but not the same way that I may have with my brother Nick, Charlie, Simon, Piers.
Sure.
But maybe in the same way I may have with someone else like Ben.
One of the major themes of the show, maybe the biggest theme, is destiny. And I don't know about you, but this feels like this was destined to happen for you. You've chased this role. This was very important to you. Do you believe in destiny? Do you believe you were destined
il y a
to
toujours
play a
pas eu
role
de
in The
trailer.
Witcher?
Je pense qu'ils attendent la fin pour le dévoiler, si jamais ils le dévoilent. Je ne sais pas si on va avoir droit à un trailer, j'espère quand même. Parce que sinon, on serait farci tout ça pour rien, quoi. J'exagère, après, il y a eu des moments sympas quand même, mais c'est un peu long.
To use a fantasy gaming term. And that's what I feel destiny is. And so I had to achieve a certain number of things to get this opportunity to play Geralt. It wasn't going to happen if I just lay on my sofa eating pizza.
You have to meet the moment. You have to rise to, yes.
Absolutely.
You set yourself up for success, and you got there.
Yes, in a way, yeah. I've been very fortunate. I've been given a lot of opportunity, and it's about running with those. And with The Witcher, yes, I pursued it very hard. I was very excited about the concept of playing Geralt.
Il avait expliqué qu'il avait harcelé en fait la showrunneuse Lorraine. Il avait demandé à son agent d'appeler tous les jours pour savoir quand est-ce que ça allait se faire, s'il pouvait faire le casting et tout. Apparemment, il dit qu'il l'a vraiment harcelé, quoi. C'était ouf.
But this one this must stand apart for you, because yes, there are things like Superman and Sherlock Holmes, and those have meanings to the entire world. But something about this, my sense is that this means something different to you. Did it mean something more when you landed this role versus these other fantastic opportunities?
Yes, the other opportunities were very important to me. I loved Superman before I played Superman, but there's something about having had a hobby, and a major part of that hobby was playing The Witcher, Witcher 3 specifically, and then reading books and fantasy and loving that sort of thing, and then finally getting to play one of those characters was, yes, it does somehow make it more personal, and it makes it something which I fight longer and harder for sure.
Talk to me a little bit about growing up, and I know this about you, that again, you lived and breathed this stuff, but as a kid, what did fantasy mean to you, and how were you
Ça va
introduced
être
to it?
long là, cette interview.
My dad would read me books, and I have this vivid memory. I don't remember the words, but I remember lying in bed and hearing his voice. He had a great reading voice. Still does.
Wait, is your dad still reading to you at night?
Yeah, I mean, I can't read. Yeah, I have people
Désolé,
who read
j'aime bien Henri Cavill, mais bon, c'est pour se farcir une interview sur son enfance, sur ces trucs.
My dad would read to me.
Ça va faire long là. Ça fait presque 2h30 là qu'on a commencé. Ça fait long là. On veut un trailer, bon Dieu.
Fantasy has been, that's what I read. Those are the books that people have, all the different kind of books they read when they have time off, and when I have time off, when I have free time, when it's not scripts, it's fantasy books and sci-fi books.
Did you, as a kid, how were you expressing yourself? Were you drawing or writing? Were you play acting as a kid? How did it kind of manifest?
I don't think I drew or wrote. I'm sure my mum would be able to tell you a story otherwise about that. I do remember.
Je suis désolée, hein, mais tout ça, moi, je m'en fous complètement. Je vois pas l'intérêt de nous raconter tout ça, en fait.
I loved the book, and I think
Ou alors pour les fans, mais vraiment hardcore de la série, les gars qui kiffent, qui vénèrent Henri Cavill et tout.
And there was a question which said, write an essay on this sentence or this picture, and it was a picture of a clown. And so then I then wrote a story about a Spitfire pilot who started off as a clown.
Sure.
And so that was
bon, les
very
gars,
much my
je délaisse un peu l'écran, on va discuter un peu.
Be quite creative
Faire passer le temps.
and try and write what I wanted to write.
Super long quand
more
même.
to your question, as I did.
Ouais, Bob, je pense que quand même ça a mis. Je pense que ça a dû mettre la barre assez haut quand même dans le monde des RPG, vu le succès que ça a eu. Le succès pas seulement au niveau des joueurs, mais succès critique aussi. Ça a dû, je pense, ça a dû mettre la barre quand même, relever un peu le niveau. Ça a dû changer quand même pas mal de choses quand même. Et surtout, c'est quand même un jeu qui date de 2015, et qui a toujours un succès de ouf, ça se dément pas quoi.
Gaming. You mentioned gaming, which obviously is a key component of how you entered this world. Do you remember when you first played The Witcher 3 and what sucked you in?
I actually played The Witcher 2 first.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I was very busy at the time. I read some good reviews, dipped into it, and I was like, okay, I can't immerse myself just yet, and so dipped out and never got back into it.
Right.
And so Witcher 3, when it came out, I just got stuck in, and the world building in that is so fantastic. They've set their rules. The graphics in there still stand up today. I mean, I've been playing on my 3090. And,
Bâtard.
Thank you very much. And
Bâtard, il a réussi à la choper quoi.
Out there who still haven't managed to get one.
He's the Witcher, guys. Cut him some slack.
Yeah, it's the Witcher. And so
Money.
the graphics still stand up, and that's what I loved the most about it was the immersion in that world. And you could really feel like you could just go do anything, and the detail was extraordinary.
C'est ça, c'est vraiment une immersion complète. Une immersion complète, que ce soit l'histoire, que ce soit sensoriel avec la musique, les bruitages.
From Sapkowski's amazing work.
Ouf.
And it was an adaptation, yes, but a sort of a post-adaptation.
Right.
It's post the books, but they're also doing some stuff which kind of happened during.
Mais c'est ça, mais c'est une prolongation en fait des livres, et c'est ça qui est bien.
They're not really changing any major rules, but they are.
Les gars, ils font leur propre histoire, mais en gardant les bases des bouquins, quoi. C'est incroyable, c'est top.
Honoring kind of the medium in every form. The books work as the books, the games work as the games, and your show works as the show. And they're not literal adaptations of each. They're each embracing the form.
Right.
Allez.
Yeah.
It's a very intelligent way to go. So have you played the game since being The Witcher, and is that an odd experience?
I actually, funnily enough, not long ago, fired it up again.
Non mais Fayaz, moi je galère déjà juste pour les choper parce que j'ai des alertes sur mon truc, mais dès que je clique, il n'y en a plus, quoi. C'est ouf. Tous les bâtards de scalpers qui sont à l'affût, qui chopent les trucs et qui les revendent 1500 ou 2000 balles sur le bon coin. Non mais lol, quoi. Je les hais, ces gens-là, sérieux.
And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to have some not fun way of playing the game. And I definitely need to
Bonsoir, Kay, tu arrives un peu après la bataille. Tu arrives dans une partie de la conférence qui est un peu soporifique.
I was not impressed with myself. So I may go back to Blood and Broken Bone and then have a go at it again because I haven't finished the expansions.
Right.
And it'd be nice to actually go back there and play through the expansions.
So the series is announced that they're developing a series, and what does Henry Cavill, this obsessive lover of gaming and this specific game and this actor, do? Do you immediately call up Team Cavill and be like, let's make this happen? How did it go down?
Yeah, I called up Team Cavill, I called up my agents, and I said, guys, I hear this is happening. Let's get on top of this. Let's get ahead of this before anyone else jumps at the opportunity. And so they were calling, and I believe it was at Netflix almost immediately. And they said, look, we haven't even got a showrunner yet. We haven't got anything yet. So come back later.
Right.
And eventually, Lauren was brought on as showrunner, and so we kept on calling. And then I went to go meet her, and that was our first meeting. And then I actually didn't get the role.
Fayaz, j'ai une 2070, mais ça fait un moment hein, que je l'ai acheté. Là, je regarde pour me refaire un PC un peu plus adapté maintenant que je fais des petites vidéos.
Ended up working out in my favor.
Wow.
So I went
coup, là,
from heartbreak to
je suis à l'affût là de ouf.
Feeling quite good about it.
I was going to say, that must have been crushing at the time.
It was a little crushing. It was a little crushing because I actually hadn't read the books until Lauren had mentioned them to me. So Lauren introduced me to the books. And I was like, oh my goodness me, I thought the books were like a play off the games because they all had the game cover on. And
wow, Random,
so
t'as eu de la chance, sérieusement, c'est ouf.
Spectacular. I read them all in
Quelle
record
chance.
time. Wow.
Bon, 4 semaines après, c'est un peu long quand même, hein, mais
in a plane, landing
tu dois être refait là, 3080, t'es tranquille là.
A shard of ice. And I didn't want to get up from my seat even though everyone was moving. And I was like, no, I haven't finished yet, you don't know what's happening. and so then I got the news and I thought, oh, okay, well, it's understandable.
Sure.
Maybe that's not where they want to go with it. To have Superman playing your character is definitely an understandable choice. And so it was a heartbreak, yeah. But then later down the line, the opportunity popped up again.
When you read for it, when you started to kind of give your
Antoine, je crois que tu as vu toutes les annonces. Tu as vu la date de la série donc pour le 17 décembre. L'animé, la Nightmare of the Wolf, c'est pour le 23 août. Et le jeu sur portable, c'est le 21 juillet. Donc voilà.
It's about time on screen and time interacting, and then you find it, and then you find that place where the character sits within yourself. Voice-wise, I do remember saying to Lauren, so for the rehearsal with Alec and Lauren, and not rehearsal, for the audition, and I said, do you want me to put a bit of rasp to my voice or anything? Right. And they're like, no, just your normal voice. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, that's a cool way to go. And did that and obviously got the role. And then I found throughout shooting, there was one, I think it was episode 3, it's actually King Foltest, that scene where I lock everyone out of the room and walk back in.
Yeah.
I didn't do that intentionally. That happened by accident. And that was after the Christmas break. And then afterwards I was like, oh my God, I just played a whole scene in the wrong voice. And I realized that voice made a lot of things sit better when it came to delivery of certain lines and delivery of certain dialogue. And I thought, actually, I kind of prefer this. And I know it's very similar to Doug Cockle's
Ah ouais, donc tu l'as vraiment pris à la
and
sortie du truc, quoi. C'est bizarre que qu'elles étaient plus chères, du coup.
And I had a look at it, had to listen to it, and I thought, actually, they are different enough. It's clearly inspired by.
Je surveille qu'il n'y ait pas de drop, justement, ça m'y fait penser.
And then I spoke to Alec and I spoke to Lauren, and they both said, yeah, it's okay, actually. If you want to do that, we can go with that, and we'll do the rest, redo the rest. We actually ended up reshooting a lot anyway, so I could go back to do the voice, which felt natural to me.
Is it a tough voice to kind of maintain through production?
No, it's not. Okay. Surprisingly not. It's it sounds like it is.
Yeah.
But it's about just finding that. I mean, season 1, I was still trying to find it.
Sure.
And you can definitely tell when I have. But in season 2, it's
Stan, ouais, c'est ça. Pas de Witcher 4. Pas de Witcher 4, ils l'avaient annoncé de toute façon, il n'y a pas de nouveau jeu, juste le patch sur lequel ils travaillent. On n'a pas eu la date d'ailleurs du patch, ou alors c'est moi qui ai mal regardé, mal écouté. Je ne sais pas s'il y a des gens qui étaient un peu plus assidus que moi dans le chat, si vous avez entendu. Je crois qu'elle devait donner la date. Et l'autre, elle a dit ah, mais on n'a plus le temps pour ce truc-là, on va passer à autre chose. Je sais plus, ou alors c'est moi qui pète un peu.
I think it started off in a place which was perhaps the nose was a little too close to the painting. It was like, yeah, this is great, and then released to the world, and the world's like, what is this? And you're like, oh God, yeah, what is that? That's a good point, actually. And so I'm glad that happened because it gave me a chance to just start to find it, take a step back from the painting and go, right, okay, I need to really focus and concentrate here. And not that I wasn't, but I need to get back to big picture.
Yep.
And
Manfred, c'est super long,
who does my hair, she's my hairstylist. She was in charge of the wig, and she didn't get to build the wig. And so then she kind of adopted it, and then she worked in it and worked in it. She was taking it home every evening taking it home.
Par contre, il y a une deuxième conférence, et ça va être dans la nuit de ce soir. Ça va être à 3h du matin. Et apparemment, les infos seront différentes de cette conférence-là. Donc, je me tâte encore si je fais une nuit blanche et je me tape la conférence ou si je me la fais demain matin en replay. On va voir. J'espère que ce sera pas long comme ça. Mais apparemment, il y a vraiment, c'est vraiment une conférence différente avec des infos différentes. Donc, je sais pas si ça vaut le coup de se la faire juste après. Je commence à fatiguer, moi perso. C'est long.
You told me once that you're a details guy. What are the details that you wanted to see in this show as a Witcher fan? What do you take pride in?
It's for me, the important thing this season was to bring Geralt as close to the books as the vision and the plot would allow. And I wanted him to be more verbose, more of an intellectual, more representative of a man who's lived 70
Merci beaucoup, c'est exactement ce qu'ils n'ont pas fait dans la première saison.
Yeah, can be mopey at times, but is also he's wise. He's been around, and he's a nice guy, despite the fact that
c'est pas un gars qui dit
moments of unpleasantness and is
tous les trois quarts d'heure, quoi. Faut un peu plus de concret derrière, mon gars.
His intentions are often, and that's the tragedy of the character, pure.
Right.
And so I wanted to really reflect that as much as possible, and.
Manfred, tu parles de la deuxième conférence. Attends, j'ai le programme là quelque part.
Fall down the line of him being the grumpy snowman, and there's a comedy aspect to that, and I wanted to lean away from that. I wanted it to be less about. I played the season.
Je pense que là, ce qu'il dit là, Kavir, je pense que ça a dû le saouler en fait. Tous les mimes qu'il y a eu là sur le fuck, de l'avoir réduit à ça, j'ai l'impression que ça l'a saulé. Et c'est pour ça qu'il voudrait changer un peu la vision du personnage.
That was the intention with that. But once you get into a scenario with Cirilla and the Witchers and his home space, and with those people who he already knows, then it was of the opinion that you had to let him be verbose and be philosophical and speak more and be intellectual, because that's what he is. He's not just a big old white-haired brute.
We started out by talking a little bit about just the nature of this, which is
c'est exactement ce que j'ai dit dans une de mes vidéos.
And really celebration of this show, this IP, and the fans.
Quel dommage de ne pas avoir fait ça dès la première saison, quoi. Lol, quoi ça sert, sérieux?
And the response was and has been as positive as it's been. Like, Were you out there looking at the memes?
Pardon, je râle beaucoup, mais je trouve ça vraiment dommage.
Or was it, I would imagine it would be thrilling to see all that, to see folks interacting with something you've put your heart and soul into.
Absolutely, yes. I was out there. I was looking at it all. The memes I found hilarious. I really did. I really enjoy that stuff. I do spend a lot of time sneaking around Reddit and reading all the forums.
Oui, apparemment, il est à fond sur Reddit. Je pense que c'est pour ça que ça l'a saoulé, tout ce truc-là.
Yeah.
And I listen to them, and I think it's very important to listen to an audience and see what everyone's saying.
Je pense qu'il doit être sur le sub sur lequel je suis aussi sur Reddit, sur VHmin, un sub qui est focalisé sur les bouquins, qui a vraiment pas aimé la première saison. Ça m'étonnerait pas qu'il soit allé dessus, qu'il ait vu toutes les critiques sur les trucs et qu'il les ait pris en compte.
Did you guys know that toss a coin to your Witcher was going to become the earworm that it became?
I mean, yeah, it was pretty catchy, but I don't think. I mean, maybe in other rooms that were discussing these kind of things, they're like, this is definitely going to be a hit.
Vous avez aimé, vous, cette chanson-là?
When I heard it the first time, I was singing it to myself.
Moi, elle m'a saoulé, sérieux. J'en ai trop soupé, je crois. Elle sort par les oreilles au bout d'un moment.
I think I probably knew subconsciously, but just didn't actively say, this is going to be an earworm, for sure. Mark my words.
And now it's your ringtone on your phone, which is a choice.
It is. And Joey's the background.
Romain, je sais pas du tout combien de temps ça dure, mais ça, normalement, c'est le dernier segment, en fait, de la conférence, c'est le dernier truc.
I'm of the mind that more is more, so I want to propose to you some new nicknames for Geralt.
Cannot wait.
Là, dans le programme, ils disent le loup blanc pourrait même vous réserver une ou deux surprises. Du coup, est-ce que ce serait le trailer?
All right, let's take a look at a photo and I'll give you my take.
Est-ce que ce serait le trailer? J'aimerais bien, parce que bon...
Big tree guy.
Okay, I call this guy the sketchy Silverado.
You know what? The sketch, yes.
I mean, it's white here technically, I suppose, but I mean...
No, but there's lots of silver there.
There is a lot of silver.
J'ai un peu de mal avec cette armure, ça fait un peu trop gladiateur quand même. Surtout le truc avec les faux abdos là, ça fait quand même gladiateur.
You'll be led into some crazy like dungeon downstairs for special clientele. But this, if I walked outside of a bar and that guy was standing there, definitely the sketchy Silverado.
Yeah, I might go to a different bar if I saw this guy outside the bar, but yes. Let's go to the next one. This I call the bathing brute.
Yes.
It's accurate.
It is accurate.
Elle est pas mal amenée dans l'épisode, mais je trouve ça fait trop, ça sonne un peu trop moderne, ça fait trop pop. Ça fait pas balade au luth, quoi, je sais pas. Je sais pas, j'ai pas accroché personnellement.
Roach Rider sounds like something from some post-apocalyptic world, like sort of from the Atlantic Basin and the Roach Riders.
The Roach Riders took us out, or it's like an insect repellent company.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's too much about Roach and not enough about you.
If someone takes this and they put some kind of, if they, like in Photoshop, just some big spray cans.
Exactly. It's a new business opportunity for you. Yeah. Next one, please. Tall, dark, and growly.
Statoon, ouais, c'est ça. Je pense qu'il faut faire un rapport au pape.
Yeah, that must be a fun day on set. That must be a happy memory.
Oh, actually, I mean, I've got a story about that.
Please.
If we have time.
Yeah.
D'ailleurs, Camelot, ça sort le 21 juillet. C'est comme le jeu sur portable.
Metal stairs outside the trailer, and they all had holes in them, to obviously so they don't become flooded with rain.
Perso, pour moi, Camelot, là, le film, c'est Day One. Pour moi, je sais pas pour vous s'il y a des fans de Camelot dans le chat, mais j'ai vu la bande-annonce, là, je suis refaite, là, j'ai trop hâte.
And he had ripped his claw all the way off, apart from a little bit. And lots of blood, all sorts. We had just been called to set. And I was going, okay, how do we do this?
Ça tourne 23 août, c'est pas l'animé? Je crois que c'est l'animé le 23 août et le jeu sur téléphone c'est le 21 juillet, je crois.
I get a call as I'm getting gooped up. And Leah says, right, vet says should be fine. They're going to remove the nail.
Ouais, Antoine, je pense qu'il va y avoir une pure atmosphère dans le cinéma. Tous les fans de Camelot et tout, ça va être ouf. J'espère vraiment que le film va être bien. Je pense qu'il va être bien. Il y a pas de raison. Voilà, même si ça fait plus de 10 ans, voilà, depuis la fin de la série.
There wasn't
Mais
really a warm tent set up,
je pense que ça va être cool quand même.
Mostly yogurt and something else, and some kind of fruit, I think, and little bits of stuff to make it look like intestines. And
Splatoon, le jeu, faut voir si c'est juste tu tues les monstres, ok. Mais ils ont dit qu'il y avait des trucs aussi, genre tu vois des gens, tu brises des malédictions, des choses comme ça. Je sais pas comment ça va être amené. Faut voir.
And he said, "This is amazing." And so if you watch it again, you'll actually see smoke coming off me throughout the scene. It's
so you're Smoky Yogurt. That's your nickname.
Ça fait vraiment Pokémon Go, quoi.
And Cal's okay. That most importantly.
C'est pas bête de le sortir là en été. Pokémon Go, je crois, c'était sorti aussi juste avant l'été, ou alors c'était au printemps et t'avais tous les gens qui étaient dehors en train d'y jouer avec les batteries externes et tout pour y jouer toute la journée. Je parle en connaissance de cause.
The choreography is already there. You just need some backup dancers.
I said 4 of club.
Exactly. And the last one, I call this is my name if I were a Witcher. Let's just call him
Antoine, t'es sérieux dans le Puy-de-Dôme, au château de Murol?
He's always there, same spot.
Je suis originaire de Clermont-Ferrand, donc c'est à côté de chez moi. Oh non, c'est vrai. Je savais pas. Oh, je suis dégoûtée. Je l'ai visité en plus, le château de Murol, quand j'étais au collège. C'est pure ambiance. Oh, je savais pas.
Let's tease a little bit more on season 2, if we could.
Oh, je suis dégoûtée, punaise. Oh, une avant-première au château de Murol.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on Geralt's journey, his relationship with Ciri, for instance? What are we going to see? He's a father figure, presumably.
Yes, I mean, as I said before,
non, mais ça m'étonne pas en 30 minutes, mais putain, c'est chaud. Oh, si j'avais su, je les aurais prises, quoi.
Him struggling with everything, and I thought, yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be a different. This is a different turn for him.
Yeah.
But he's also wise. You know, he's 70. He's probably seen a few children in his time.
J'écoute là ce qu'il dit, il parle de la relation Geralt et Ciri. J'espère qu'ils vont pas foirer cette partie-là de l'histoire.
Maybe Sorella will be. Yeah. And he, yes, I wanted him to be warm. If not a father figure, then definitely an older brother figure. And it to have this kind of just a caring nature to him.
Yep.
But also tough, because he's not going to be super soft. He himself has lived a very hard life, and she is about to live a very hard life. She's no longer a princess, and so he's not going to be softening her up any further. He's going to be being straight down the line. And that was very important to me, that Geralt had a sense
oui, mais
of
comme dans les livres, c'est exactement
also being
ça.
Tough and also being intellectual and wise. And so I tried to lean into that as much as possible when it came to the relationship with Ciri.
Another important relationship with Jaskier. Where are we going to see?
Well, I can't really say
Oula,
too much
Jaskier,
about that.
Vu comment ça s'est terminé.
I will say that I absolutely love working with Joey, and Joey is very well versed in the books and the lore and the IP.
C'est vrai, il a lu les livres, il a l'air calé sur le truc, c'est vraiment cool ça.
Another one you probably can't say much about, but everyone wants to know, of course, there were fireworks in the first season between Yennefer and Geralt.
Yes.
What can we expect? Presumably, hopefully, we'll see her again.
Again, I can't.
Oh non, bah non, pas du tout, on va pas la voir. Lol.
People are fans of the IP, in for plenty of surprises.
Let's talk about a familiar character, but one we haven't seen yet, Vesemir.
Yes, indeed.
Are you excited
Splatoon,
for
c'est
the fans
possible
to
qu'on soit
finally
déçus.
see this
Je pense
relationship
aussi.
take on
Enfin,
screen?
moi, ça m'a l'air un peu.
Kim and I,
Je sais pas, je suis pas sûre de ce que ça va donner, mais écoute, on va essayer. 21 juillet, c'est bientôt. C'est gratuit en plus, donc on peut tester pour voir. Ça peut être marrant, mais je me vois pas passer des heures dessus comme avec Pokémon Go. Je pense, mais j'espère être déçu.
we wanted it to be sensitive, and because I believe that real men are
Oula,
very
Antoine,
sensitive. They are very capable of doing things
sacrée tâche
which
qui
can
t'attend.
like
Tu
violent
me
if
diras
possible
comment tu as
or
trouvé
necessary,
l'épée de la Providence.
but at
Je
the same time,
l'adore,
they are
il
incredibly
est
capable
formidable.
of love and
Les
caring,
deux dernières nouvelles, surtout, elles
amongst men and
sont...
towards children
Bon,
and
j'en dis
family
pas
and all
plus,
sorts.
mais
And
je
so
pense que tu
we
vas
wanted
aimer.
to make sure
Voilà,
that was a core element
n'hésite
of
pas à
their
repasser pour me
relationship.
dire comment tu l'as trouvé.
And it wasn't too driven by any kind of conflict which was being introduced.
The big question, obviously the fans really want to know, in season 2, is there going to be an earworm as delicious as toss a coin to your Witcher?
Mais n'importe quoi, on s'en fout de ça.
There's something pretty darn good, actually. I mean, Joey's very talented, and there is something pretty darn good, but only time will tell.
This is just from the fans, not from me. More bathtub scenes, or is Geralt now taking up showers? What's happening with his bathing routine now?
Yeah, Geralt only showers from now on. He invented the shower,
right?
For this very reason. No, actually, there are people, myself personally, there's no bathtub scenes, but people will not be disappointed. There's plenty of man flesh to be observed.
One key relationship we haven't talked about Roach, season 2. Now I think you have something, maybe a treat for the audience, actually, a little peek.
Yes, a little sneak peek at Roach for season 2.
Qu'est-ce qu'ils ont sérieux avec Ablette? Je comprends pas le délire avec Ablette. Alors ok, dans les jeux, c'est ok. Mais dans la série, c'est quoi l'intérêt? Faut y arrêter.
The Roach who we all know and love.
Oh là là, Ablette par-ci, Ablette par-là.
Yeah, this scene is right in the beginning, and they've actually done a very good job here. Because it really looks like winter snow. Yeah. I think it might have been, oh no, it was quite cold that day, but it definitely wasn't snowing that much. But yeah, this is just a beautiful piece of work. I think this was Romain's work as DOP.
Ça, c'est quand ils arrivent à Carmoran, je suppose.
Very talented man. And yeah, this is myself and Cirilla at the beginning of our journey.
Had you worked a lot with horses prior to Witcher, and how have you been?
I've done horsework over the years, yes.
Antoine, la première nouvelle, Les limites du possible, la chasse au dragon. Elle est géniale, elle est géniale celle-là. Elle est tellement bien, c'est dommage qu'il est si mal adapté, honnêtement, dans la saison 1. Il y avait tous les ingrédients pour faire un truc de ouf avec. C'est vraiment dommage. Et tu vois, tu parlais de la relation Gérald de Yennefer, attends de lire la deuxième. Éclat de glace, elle est... voilà, tu n'es pas au bout de tes surprises.
Just to get up and ride before work, because I was using that as my cardio, basically. So doing an hour and a half of riding, and yeah, just getting better and better and better if I could. And yeah, had the great opportunity of working with everyone there. So I was very fortunate.
Awesome. So we, as you would expect, we have some fan questions for you. So I'm gonna hit you with these. Some of these you probably can't say much, but we're gonna see what we can get. The first one's from Melissa on Twitter. Mm-hmm. She asks, there it is. How did you approach Geralt's emotional state after the events of season 1? How will losing Yen and Jaskier, but finding Ciri at the end, affect Geralt in season 2?
Well, for me, it's always important to draw from the source material, and I wanted to try and keep it as close as possible to that. Yes, the loss of Yennefer is a great blow for Geralt, and it's something which he buries deep. But he's also, as I said, a man of action, a wise man, and so I should probably stop saying man, mutant. And his focus is Cirilla, and he has to push his grief down and away and to one side, because that's not what this is about.
D'accord,
he's lost
Manfred,
c'est long. He's
hein.
lost Witcher brothers, and Yen is particularly an emotional center for him, but he's got a job to do, and he's got to do it. And so it was an underlying thing, but I actually focused more so, Melissa, on being there for Cirilla.
Jessica on Facebook wants to know.
Bonne soirée Laurent,
Witcher
merci en tout cas d'être passé.
I mean, I haven't read the
Je pense
full
qu'on se reparlera
series
sur
in a
Insta.
while since.
Bonne soirée et bon week-end.
Just before I got the role, actually. But I have read the first 3 books a number of times.
C'est ultra long.
And
c'est ultra long. C'est ultra long.
I think it still stands.
Si je pouvais, j'avancerais un peu parce que là.
Blood of Elves was actually one of my favorite books. Perhaps it's just because we spend so much time with Geralt in different stories in the first 2 books, and finally we get one continuous time with him. Perhaps it was also the fantasy lover and gamer in me who got to see the background of the witches and got to see where they came from. That was really, really interesting to me. And also to get an insight to Geralt's personal beliefs and where he stands, and when it comes to world politics, when it comes to the elves and man and indeed gnomes and dwarves as well, what his opinion is and how he educates Cyrilla on these points.
Bonne soirée Antoine, merci d'être passé.
For me,
les gars, avant de partir, si vous pouvez mettre un petit pouce pour soutenir ma chaîne, ce serait super gentil. Merci. Merci.
At Real Ermin on Twitter wants to know, what have you learned from the first season of The Witcher that you are bringing into the second season?
Et restez à l'affût, peut-être demain, peut-être que demain je referai la deuxième conférence en replay. Je sais pas, je vais voir, ça dépend si ça s'éternise encore. On verra bien. Ou alors je ferai juste un récap des infos de la deuxième conférence. On va voir.
Wigs take a lot of work. Yeah. Wigs are important. Yeah.
This is a valuable lesson.
Merci Antoine, c'est gentil.
Yeah, make sure you've got a good wig worker.
Yeah, always.
Jackie
ça se trouve, les gars, ils vont nous mettre le trailer dans la deuxième conférence. Celle qui est à 3h du matin. Ça se trouve, ils vont pas le mettre ici. Ils seraient capables, hein, les bâtards.
It was something which and I'm sure everyone else wanted to introduce a bit more, was Geralt's capabilities and exploring the witches. In there are definitely some cases where discussions were had and another decision was made, and there were discussions that had other opportunities, and then indeed a sign was used.
Excellent. Viscount Yask wants to know on Twitter, we have a lot of new characters announced for Season 2. As a big fan of the original material, which of them are you most excited to see?
Toujours Julien, je l'ai regardé.
I don't know if I can actually say
une
there's
seule
anyone
fois.
which I'm more excited than the others, because
je l'ai regardé une seule fois et d'une traite, hein, dès qu'elle est sortie à 9h le 20 décembre. J'ai pas réussi à la re-regarder. J'étais tellement déçue que j'avais pas envie de la re-regarder en fait. Du coup, quand je fais mes vidéos comparatives, je reprends juste certains bouts des épisodes. Je la re-regarde pas parce que j'arrive pas, honnêtement.
Again, Blood of Elves, when reading it and seeing their interaction and the way they become.
En fait, ça m'a suffi de la regarder une fois. Je me rappelle, voilà, de majeure partie des trucs, mais j'arriverai pas à la relire la re-regarder une deuxième fois, je pense.
I'm hoping on behalf of the audience that maybe you've brought something special for them.
K, bonne soirée, merci d'être passé. À bientôt.
It's good to see everyone. Thank you very much. No, just joking. We have
Et Bob, non, on va pas exagérer.
For all of you.
N'exagérons pas.
I'm your destiny.
Et voilà, enfin, le trailer.
You're much more than that, Cyrilla.
Ça, t'aurais dû le dire dans la saison 1. Attends, je vais regarder sur le meilleur écran.
I need to understand some things.
The world is changing. Centra isn't safe for you anymore.
What exactly is Cameron?
You're home. Finally.
Oula, il y a du monde.
Who the hell are you?
Sometimes I feel so afraid. I feel like I could burn the whole world.
Facing your fear is not easy, but I am here for you. When I say run,
La Brooks.
you run.
C'était la Brooks.
When I say hide,
I have to stay.
you hide. Run!
Vesemir said that the world outside these walls is a dangerous place. But you can find power and purpose. Where is she?
What if your princess is more than you bargained for?
On a vu Nivellen de dos.
Are you sure you're ready for this?
Welcome back.
Well, we can't see the audience at home, but on behalf of them, I think they're going something like this.
Alors.
I was really hoping you were going to fully commit to that.
Alors.
It looks awesome.
Alors, ce trailer.
Franchement,
ça a l'air pas trop mal, honnêtement. Pour une première visualisation, ça a l'air pas trop mal à voir. Mais je pense qu'ils ont fait un effort sur la relation Gérald de Ciri. J'ai l'impression, en tout cas.
There's something I've been dying to say. Sorry, this is completely. I just every day on this set, I was grinding my teeth because there was no one who would know the reference that I'm about to give you. And I mean, even if you don't get it, there's some cameras here and there are people at home who will get it.
Okay.
Do you know Warhammer at all? Warhammer 40,000, that kind of stuff? That
Not
world?
the greatest expert.
Okay,
so,
that's fine. That's fine. There's people at home who are just gone, oh yeah.
Yeah, they're leaning in now. Go for it.
That chandelier looks like a Blackstone fortress. And I know that no one on set would have got that. And so I have been biting my tongue about that, so I don't sound like too much of a crazy
You're in
person.
the right place at WitcherCon to say that. You found your people, my friend.
Yeah, and I mean, the set design from Andrew Laws is amazing.
I love it.
And I don't know if that was his inspiration, but that thing looks like a Blackstone fortress.
I love it. Well, as I said, it's all about passion, and I love how much you bring to this project, and it shows in the finished product. Thank you again for your time, buddy.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Julia, who's going to wrap up this first WitcherCon for all of us. Julia.
Alors les gars, on attend qu'il termine et on se refait le trailer image par image, si ça vous dit. Rapido parce qu'il est tard, là, il est quoi? Il est 9h. Il est 10h10, moins 5. J'ai les crocs.
Together, we followed the path, and it's led us to some pretty amazing things. You know, we've been on set, inside Kaer Morhen, we picked the brains of the cast, the crew, and the developers. But there is still a little bit more. CD Projekt Red invites you to relive the best moments from the biggest Gwent the Witcher card game tournament in its history, World Masters. The rebroadcast starts immediately after our end credits. And, you know, just in case you missed some of today's panels or you're hoping to see even more reveals and announcements, we'll be airing WitcherCon once more for those of you in the other hemisphere in just a few hours' time. Now it's time for the band to take us away one last time. Goodbye.
Ah, enfin, on finit sur une note sympa. Par contre, elle me dit rien, cette musique-là. Ah, c'est peut-être dans le jeu Gwent. Ouais, Manfred, c'est la même conférence, mais à 3h du matin en fait. Oula, non, c'est le temps de changer là. C'est le moment de changer. Ça suffit. Cette chanson, on en a soupé pendant toute l'année. Alors.
I'm hoping on behalf of the audience that maybe you've brought something special.
Alors, pour ceux qui restent, on se refait le trailer. On regarde un peu. J'ai vu plein de choses intéressantes dedans. Du coup,
we have a special teaser trailer.
Alors attendez, je me mets sur le bon écran.
So, I'm your destiny.
Donc ça, c'est juste après en fait qu'ils se soient retrouvés.
You're much more than that, Cyrilla.
Much more than that, Cyrilla. Ça, normalement, c'est dans ce qu'il aurait dû lui dire dans la saison 1, c'est ce que j'ai dit. Bon, je râle, j'arrête. Ok, on les voit qui voyagent ensemble. Donc ça, c'est une des théories en fait, ouais, que j'avais vue, dont j'ai parlé dans la vidéo que j'ai faite sur la saison 2. Donc le premier épisode, et on l'a vu, on l'a bien vu. Il s'appelle Un grain de vérité. Le premier épisode, donc il se dirige vers Kaer Morhen, et c'est là qu'ils vont tomber en fait sur le château de Nivellen, et qu'il va y avoir donc l'adaptation de cette nouvelle.
I need to understand some things.
Ça, je me demande si c'est pas Kaer Morhen. Manfred, bonne soirée, merci d'être passé. C'était un peu long, mais bon, il y a quand même eu des petits trucs intéressants, mais ça aurait mérité quand même d'être quand même pas mal écrémé, parce que c'était long, c'était très long.
The world is changing.
Ah, est-ce que c'est pas Sakasuri? Parce qu'il dit Sintra n'est plus sûr. On dirait que... Parce que, vous voyez en plus, on le voit dans le fond, il a son bandage à la jambe, donc juste après la fin de la saison 1. Je me demande s'ils ne reviennent pas à Sintra. Et parce que là, on dirait le cadavre de Sakasuri quand même. Hein. Je pense, hein. Je pense que c'est ça. Ok, donc ça voyage tranquillement. Kaer Morhen, il y a du monde là, dites donc, il y a du people. Oula. Normalement, ils sont pas beaucoup dans les romans. Normalement, il y a Vesemir, Lambert, Eskel et Cohen. Normalement, il y a 4. Ils sont 4. Il y a du monde.
Finally.
Attendez, pardon, je reviens. Tout micro, voilà en arrière. J'ai essayé de compter combien ils sont en fait. Donc là, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hop, ils sont beaucoup en fait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On dirait qu'ils sont une... Ouais, il y en a 6, 8 quand même. Ok. Là, c'est où? Est-ce qu'il était en train de s'entraîner, peut-être? Ok. On a eu Ciri donc, qui faisait des cauchemars. Ensuite, qui visite un peu Kaer Morhen. Les épées, les trucs. Ce qu'on avait vu un peu dans le premier film.
Facing your fear is not easy, but I am here for you.
Ok.
When I say run.
Là, alors là, je pense que c'est la nouvelle Grain de vérité, parce que là, il est dans une espèce de cour, la cour d'une grande maison, d'un château. Je pense que c'est ça, et que là, c'est l'affrontement. Pardon, hein, ça spoil, hein, je spoil. C'est l'affrontement avec la Brooks. Il a l'air d'avoir pris des élixirs, je sais pas si vous voyez bien, mais il a les yeux un peu... noir quoi, la pupille prend vraiment tout l'œil là, comme on a pu voir dans d'autres scènes contre la Kikimor dans le premier épisode. Hop, voilà. Qu'est-ce qu'on voit? Ça a l'air pas trop mal fait, hein, mais j'attends de voir quand même, hein, parce que je me rappelle le dragon de l'épisode 6. Ok, donc là elle est toujours à Kaer Morhen. Ça, on l'avait vu dans le premier... non, dans le deuxième teaser. Je sais pas qui ça peut être. Moi, je parlais de Nivellen, mais après, j'ai vu des gens qui disaient que c'est peut-être Vilgefortz ou alors Riens. Ouais, on va voir. Hein. Là, c'est pareil, c'est juste après, la fin de la saison 1 parce qu'il a son bandage autour de la jambe. Ça a l'air d'être toujours lié à la nouvelle grain de vérité, hein, je pense. Hein. Kermoren. Oh non. Ça, je me demande si c'est pas cette espèce de théorie que j'ai vue passer, une théorie qui avait l'air complètement farfelue, qui disait qu'il allait avoir, alors attention, je spoil, hein, qu'il allait avoir des femmes à Kermoren, et dont la dame qu'on voit en premier plan, je crois que c'est elle, hein, qui est dans l'épisode 3, c'est la prostituée avec qui Geralt est au tout début de l'épisode avec la Strige. Et j'avais vu des annonces qui disaient qu'elle reviendrait dans cette saison-là. Et voilà, donc je pense que c'est ça, mais ça me paraîtrait quand même bizarre. Et là, du coup, Ciri, Ciri, elle a pas l'air d'être en tenue de voyage là. Donc, est-ce qu'elle est à Kermoren ou est-ce que c'est chez Nivellen? Je sais, nous devons rester. Je pense que oh, je sais pas, c'est bizarre cette théorie, c'est vraiment bizarre. Ok, là c'est encore quand ils sont... Ah non, juste avant c'était Ciri avec une espèce d'armure, donc je crois que c'est pendant qu'elle s'entraîne. Là aussi, Geralt, il a la nouvelle armure, donc ça a l'air d'être l'entraînement. Mais il y a l'air d'avoir un monstre dans les parages quand même. Ok, donc ça c'est après, parce que ça c'est la nouvelle armure, donc c'est une fois qu'ils sont à Kermoren, ça doit être quand ils s'entraînent aux abords de la forteresse à la chasse aux monstres. Je pense. Ouais, parce que là, elle a en tenue Ciri, elle a sa tresse. Là, il court, mais c'est la fin de la saison... Sa tenue de la fin de la saison 1. Donc, ce serait pareil, ça serait sur le chemin pour aller à Kermoren. Et peut-être que Ciri est en danger, c'est pour ça qu'il court. Oh, on a Vézémir de dos. Et Geralt qui s'entraîne donc sur les piliers. Nilfgaard. On reconnaît la bannière. Et les nouvelles armures, on les voit pas bien là. Je sais pas si vous voyez avec le truc. Hop. C'est les nouvelles armures qui sont un peu mieux quand même. Enfin, qui sont même beaucoup mieux. Tac. Donc ça c'est Kermoren. On reconnaît les épées là du présentoir sur la droite. Hop, il a repris une petite potion. Je pense que c'est pareil, c'est dans le château de Nivellen. Parce que pareil, c'est la tenue de la fin de la saison 1. Ah, ça, je sais ce que c'est. Ça, c'est la page du script qui a fuité. Alors, spoiler encore une fois. C'est la page du script qui a fuité. Si je dis pas de bêtises, c'est justement l'épisode Un grain de vérité. Et normalement, l'épisode commence donc avec un marchand, sa femme et sa fille qui arrivent dans un village désert, qui demandent, qui crient pour avoir l'hospitalité parce qu'il fait nuit, il neige, nanana, et ils se font attaquer par un monstre qu'on ne voit pas. Et ça suit exactement le script que j'ai, la page du script qui a fuité. Dur à prononcer. Et donc là, le gars, on va le voir se faire choper, je pense. Hop, bah voilà. Ok, ça c'était déjà dans le teaser, le deuxième teaser, c'est Geralt qui s'avance. Je pense qu'il est chez Nivellen. Hein. Moi, je me base par rapport aux tenues, donc ça c'est la tenue de fin de saison 1, donc je pense que c'est ça. Et ça, donc c'est Ciri à Kermoren. Ça, on l'a vu aussi dans le teaser de Rien de Nouveau. on a Ciri donc en tenue d'entraînement qui doit être qui doit être aux abords de Kaer Morhen en train de s'entraîner tout à l'heure. Et normalement, je crois qu'on va voir Triss, enfin de dos. On dirait un médaillon. Ça, c'est un médaillon, ok. Ok, donc c'est bien ce que j'avais vu dans le teaser 2. Donc Geralt et Vesemir dos à dos. Et je vois pas ce que c'est autour d'eux. Hein. Mais ils avaient dit qu'il allait avoir une bataille. Donc est-ce que c'est la bataille, le massacre de Kaer Morhen ou... Je crois pas parce que c'est sa tenue de la fin de la saison 1. Je pense pas. Ok. On change un peu de... Voilà, bah c'est le teaser de Yennefer qui manquait. Juste après la bataille du Mont Soden. Ok. On compte les pertes. Ok, bon, toujours en chemin. Là, c'est Ciri qui est sur le cheval. Geralt, il est devant avec sa jambe bandée. Donc ça, c'est le château de Nivellen. Ok, donc ça, pareil, c'est la fin de la saison 1, après la bataille du Mont Soden, quand Yennefer est introuvable. Il y avait déjà dans l'épisode 8 le rêve que Ciri fait où elle voit Geralt et Tissaia en train de hurler pour retrouver Yennefer, nanana. Ça, oula, c'est pas très... Attendez, je regarde sur cet écran-là, est-ce que c'est mieux? Non. Vu une espèce de bataille, je sais pas si c'est Nilfgaard ou... Je pense que c'est Nilfgaard, hein. Je suis pas sûre, on voit vraiment pas très bien. Là, c'est Geralt, pareil, tenue de fin de saison... Est-ce qu'on voit un monstre ou... Je sais pas. Pareil, tenue de fin de saison 1 avec le bandage, donc toujours chez Nivellen. En train de se battre contre... Se battre contre quelque chose. On va voir. Alors. Et voilà. Des cheveux roux. C'est Triss. Ça peut être que Triss. Je pense que c'était Triss. Hein. Normalement, et dans les romans, c'est ça. Hein. C'est Triss qui vient aider Ciri à Kaer Morhen. Et elle se rencontre justement sur les chemins. Ok. Zut. Zut, zut, zut. Oh, je suis allée trop vite. Excusez-moi. Ça, c'est... Ne serait-ce pas Dara, l'elfe, dont on s'en fout un peu. Est-ce que ça ne serait pas Dara qui se fait recruter chez les Scoia'tael? Ça me dirait bien, mais pas sûr. Ouais, je crois que c'est lui. Hein. Ça, on voit pas trop ce que c'est, mais je crois que c'est Istred. Ciri, ok. Ça, normalement, ça devrait être ce qu'on n'a pas vu dans la saison 1, à savoir la vraie bataille du Mont Soden, pas juste l'affrontement entre les magiciens du Nord et les magiciens nilfgaardiens, mais vraiment la bataille avec les soldats, quoi. C'est une des plus grandes batailles de l'histoire dans les romans. C'est dommage qu'on ne l'ait pas vu, mais je pense qu'on va le voir après. Et que c'est pour ça que Tissaia, on la voit hurler Yennefer, parce que voilà, elle n'arrive pas à la retrouver parmi le carnage qu'a été cette bataille. Statoun, tu me dis, fais juste flèche gauche-droite sur le clavier. Ok. Ah. Merci, Statoun. Ah. Zut. Je vais trop vite. On a vu un peu de Jaskier. Ouais. Mais avec sa dégaine de cow-boy, là, ça va pas du tout. Alors, première saison, c'était Justin Bieber avec la coupe, et là, Red Dead Redemption, quoi. C'est louche. Pourquoi pas? Ok. Et ça, donc c'est la nouvelle armure Nilfgaardienne. Je pense que c'est Caïr. Ça m'étonnerait pas. Vesemir, hein, on reconnaît de dos. On n'a toujours pas vu son visage. J'ai hâte de le voir. Je pense que ça va être... je pense que ça va être cool ce qu'ils vont faire de Vesemir. Hâte de le voir. Ah, enfin, Nivellen. Alors, on voit donc la grosse tête avec la fourrure. Les oreilles. Et donc les habits humains, bien sûr. Mais ok, je pense qu'on verra pas son visage. Oula. Ah, donc on le voit qui fait usage de la magie. Oui, donc pour ceux qui connaissent pas la nouvelle, spoiler. Nivellen a la capacité en fait de contrôler complètement son château. Donc je sais pas, il fait un claquement de doigts, les bougies s'allument, il tape dans ses mains et il y a des plats qui apparaissent sur la table. Donc ouais, il a des pouvoirs mais qui sont limités vraiment à son château. Donc c'est cool, on va voir Nivellen vraiment comme dans les romans, quoi. Ok. Ça, on l'avait vu dans le teaser 2. Pareil, je pense toujours que c'est Triss qui prend Géralt par la main quand elle est à Kaer Morhen et qu'elle essaie de profiter de l'absence de Yennefer pour biaiser, on va dire. Ok, là ils sont, je suppose, à Kaer Morhen. Je suppose. Et là, pareil, c'était le château...
Princess is more than you bargained for.
Hop, pareil, la cour du château Nivellen. Et... ok, combat.
Are you sure you're ready for this?
Eh ben...
Welcome back.
Et enfin, nous avons donc la théorie qu'on avait eue, dont j'avais parlé aussi dans ma vidéo sur la saison 2, à savoir que Yennefer se fait capturer par... c'est bizarre en fait, parce que Fringilla est avec elle, donc je pense qu'elle se fait capturer par Nilfgaard, j'ai l'impression. Je pensais qu'elles se faisaient capturer toutes les deux par les Scoia'tael, mais on dirait que non. C'est juste Yennefer qui se fait choper par Nilfgaard. Ouais, juste après la bataille du Mont Soden. C'est ça. Bon. Les gars, écoutez, moi, je suis plutôt...
Well, we can't see the audience at home, but
plutôt
on behalf of them, I think
quand
they're
même.
going something like this.
Je sais pas ce que ça va donner, parce que c'est toujours le problème avec les trailers. On est toujours hypé, on veut en voir plus. C'est le problème que j'ai eu avec la saison 1. Mais écoutez, on va bien voir. Je pense qu'ils vont bien respecter la nouvelle Un grain de vérité. J'ai l'impression, en tout cas. Je pense aussi qu'ils vont faire un effort au niveau de la relation Géralt-Ciri et puis voilà tout le truc à Kaer Morhen. Par contre, ce qui va venir après, je suis pas sûre, je suis pas très rassurée. Donc on va bien voir. On va bien voir. Ça a l'air pas trop mal en tout cas. J'ai l'impression qu'il y a un effort qui a été fait aussi au niveau de que ce soit les costumes ou les effets spéciaux. On dirait, hein. Après, voilà, encore une fois, c'est un trailer, donc ils choisissent, je pense, les moments les plus sympas, les plus visuellement chouettes. Du coup, on va bien voir, mais Starbuck, pour cette théorie-là, n'a peut-être que... Parce que normalement, spoiler, normalement, Nilfgaard collabore avec les Scoia'tael. Donc, ça ferait du sens, voilà, que Nilfgaard / Scoia'tael capture Yennefer, donc elle tombe entre les mains des deux, je pense. On va bien voir. Et du coup, ça ferait écho avec cette scène qu'on voit très vite dans le, qu'on appelle ça, dans le deuxième teaser, le teaser centré sur Geralt. Et je pense certainement, c'est Yennefer qui est attachée à un siège, et je crois que c'est Cahir en face d'elle. Je pense qu'il essaie de l'interroger ou quelque chose comme ça. Donc je pense qu'il va y avoir ce truc-là de Yennefer capturée, Nilfgaard qui va essayer de lui soutirer des informations, lui dire on cherche un sorceleur qui voyage avec une jeune fille spéciale, nanana, et que voilà, peut-être qu'elle va collaborer avec eux ou pas, on sait pas encore. Donc je pense que ça va être ça. Je pense que ça va être ça. On verra bien. Du coup, les gars, on va arrêter là. C'était super long, mais bon, c'est vrai qu'il y a eu plein de trucs intéressants et c'était cool de pouvoir en discuter avec vous. Je pense pas que je vais me faire la deuxième conférence, honnêtement, juste après. Je pense que je regarderai en replay si ils disent apparemment que les infos sont différentes. Mais je suis pas complètement sûre. Hein. Je pense pas honnêtement parce que j'ai regardé le programme et ça a l'air d'être sensiblement pareil. Donc je pense que je regarderai en replay, voir s'il y a des infos intéressantes et puis on en rediscutera peut-être sur le Discord pour ceux qui sont dessus. Pour les autres, n'hésitez pas à nous rejoindre. Ça peut être cool de discuter de ce qu'on vient de voir aujourd'hui. Voilà. Du coup, on va se quitter en chanson. Fini avec cette petite composition de Percival. En tout cas, merci beaucoup d'avoir été aussi nombreux. C'était vraiment super sympa de passer cette soirée avec vous. Ça a été un vrai plaisir vraiment de pouvoir discuter, de pouvoir échanger sur l'univers. C'est vrai que c'était un peu long, mais bon, il y a quand même plein de trucs qui ont l'air top. Et surtout, moi j'ai hâte de voir l'animé Nightmare of the Wolf, donc 23 août. J'ai hâte de voir ça, donc voilà, on reste en contact pour voir comment ça va se goupiller les nouvelles arrivées dans l'univers de Witcher, que ce soit le jeu ou cet animé, on va bien voir. Hop, du coup, je vous souhaite une très bonne soirée. Merci encore une fois d'être passé, c'était vraiment top. Et puis, on se revoit prochainement. Peut-être pour le replay de la deuxième conférence, si il y a des choses intéressantes, différentes. Mais sinon, ce sera sur une autre vidéo. Voilou. Je vous le redis en passant, n'hésitez pas à mettre un petit pouce pour me soutenir. Ça serait cool de votre part. Vous abonner pour ceux qui ne sont pas abonnés, ça serait encore plus cool. Et merci encore. Et du coup, je vous souhaite une très bonne soirée, un excellent week-end. Et on va y arrêter là. Je crois que je vais me faire le générique jusqu'à la fin, juste pour regarder un peu ce que les illustrations, elles ont l'air sympas. To your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty. Bonne soirée!